Hey, what is going on tonight?
Hello.
Oh, we're just live like that.
Oh, no,
now?
yeah, we're live like that.
We get no intro anymore, no warning,
Nope.
no nothing.
Hey, miss, it might help if you turn on your microphone.
It's on. I'm on.
I'm here.
I'm
Sorry.
legit on.
Check.
Now check it.
Check. One,
Check,
two.
check. Oh, I'm on now.
Do I get
Notice
the
how
headphones?
confident she was that she was on when she wasn't on.
I
and
just
she
don't want
started
you
getting mad
yelling at me.
We're here for real.
I know, but you get
Stop
so
yelling.
but that is the problem in our
Stop
relationship.
yelling because
The
you're yelling at me
Okay, right, you
all
let me
the
talk.
time. No.
Look, do we got to get what's his name, Captain Underpants on, or whatever the hell his name was last week?
I
No,
don't know.
see, that is the problem in our relationship when you're so what now? Oh, I am now.
You're literally going to talk shit about my microphone, but you didn't even press the record button.
Hey, welcome to Radio Underland. We're just starting right now for the recording for those of you
Why do
listening
we
to the
have no
audio
intro
podcast.
anymore? So we don't even have a warning shot anymore.
Yeah, a warning shot. Yeah, we don't have an intro. I mean, we do have an intro, but we've been testing out like a few different new softwares, which I'm sure nobody that's listening to this even gives a fuck about that we're talking about it. But we've been testing out some new softwares, and integrating the opening videos is a little complicated.
I think they just want to see you flip out and say, "I'm not mad."
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all.
He's always mad.
I'm not mad. No. But what I was going to say is that you were so confident that your microphone was on,
I heard myself.
and you started yelling at me,
I was not yelling,
and your microphone was not on.
but I'm not
And
yelling.
that is the story of our life.
Why
When you're
are you
wrong,
yelling?
now you're trying to switch it on me, because what I'm saying is when you're
Tom?
wrong, I'm not yelling.
You're yelling, dude.
I'm not yelling.
Maybe it's just your mic that's a little bit louder than ours.
He could do that 100% for sure because he
Does it
just
all the
wants to be
time.
heard.
Hey, Jake, speak with your inside voice.
Okay. Anyways, who's here tonight? I'm Jake.
Tom's here.
Missy's here.
And Stefan.
We haven't had that one for a while.
Hey, Stefan, you kind of look like Malcolm X sitting over there tonight. Like, should I be afraid or anything since I'm the whitest guy in the room? Or
No, not alone. Do you work for the FBI?
No, not
Okay,
at all.
then you're good.
You're
I
safe
want
then.
those glasses. I think I say it every time you wear them. And I forgot mine. I know those aren't prescription, but
They are not
they're just-
prescription
they're
because
just-
I'm a poser.
mm.
I'm a loser, baby.
No, Missy, your cousin
Why
does that
don't
too. The
you
DJ,
kill
he
me?
wears just fashion glasses.
Oh
Aren't
yeah,
all
he's
glasses
not. He's
fashion
not.
glasses
he's
unless
not-
they help you see better?
He's not blind at all. But he
Can I wear
only-
fashion glasses? Will it like take attention away from my receding hairline, or
Probably.
what frame should I wear? I don't know.
Something with a very low brow.
Maybe we should do that one show. We just all come on glasses.
Like our guest that's sitting over there wearing her glasses. I think she's a little hungover.
I'm thinking
Hold on,
so.
let me turn that on. So, anyways, we're doing a little bit of it's not a stand-up comedy night, but we definitely have a room full of
Sit-down
comedians.
comedy.
It's
Sit-down comedy?
It's lazy comedy night.
Lazy comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag. We need to coin that right now.
Hashtag lazy comedy.
No, but we've got 3 guests tonight, and the 3 guests that we have, it's Ann Flagg, and I saw Ann. I saw her at Tom. Have you ever heard of the Corey and Chad, the Smash Brothers?
I have.
Well, I went to a show of theirs because I follow them on Facebook or something like that. Way to go, Missy. And I went to the Ontario Improv, and I went to go see Corey and Chad, and I had no idea that the Ontario Improv once a month does something that they call the Dirty Show.
Yep.
And of course, Tom, who do you think that I went with when I went to go see the Dirty Show at the Ontario Improv?
Missy's dad.
I know.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'll take the guy you watch porn with for $50.
Okay.
That's that part.
I have never purposefully set out to watch porn with Missy's
Oh,
dad.
wait a minute. You forgot. It was gay porn.
Oh, that part. How
But-
can I forget that part?
Okay. You know, I hate to revisit this story once again.
I think we
Why not? We love it
revisit
so
all
much.
the time.
Because we love it.
But
How about we tell our guest about this story?
what they're referring to is there was one time where me and Missy were visiting her dad. Okay. And her dad is a very,
See, his story's too long.
Yeah.
His wife, that's his
Meat and
wife because they're
potatoes.
married. They're married. So his wife's dad and him watch gay porn together.
that's not entirely,
all right.
that
Cut
is
and dry.
correct.
No, that
but
is
that's-
entirely correct.
is entirely
100% true. Gay porn together. Yeah.
And we're not talking for 5 minutes.
One
We're
time
talking
where this is like
They were the only
Scheduled.
two in the room.
That's not exactly how it,
how old?
okay. You know, what you're saying is correct, but that is not entirely accurate. What had happened? What had happened was,
Yes.
See, when
I
you
love
start
the
the
story.
story that way, yeah.
I love a story. That
what
starts
had
that way,
happened
yeah.
was I was sitting on the couch with Missy and her dad. Missy was in between the two of us, just like anyways. So we're watching TV.
It's already weird.
Now, let me make this clear that Missy's dad one time before said, "Hey, I've got tickets to the porn convention at the LA Convention Center tomorrow, but I'm not going. Do you guys want them?" And I was kind of like,
See, I've been watching Mindhunter.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen that show before.
No,
But they
I've
just
seen
talk
like, the
about
first
the whole
episode.
premise to serial killers and the little odd quirks that they
My
have.
dad is not a
I'm
serial
not saying your
killer.
dad's a serial killer. I'm saying maybe your husband's sitting down watching porn with your dad.
Those are serial killer traits, is what we're saying. Those are some type of way on a list somewhere,
Just saying.
and the feds are watching something.
I'm just saying he has markers and I'm watching.
Let me turn up the other two mics since we're all getting involved in the conversation right now.
Are we on?
So yeah, you're on now.
this motherfucker.
Okay, so what had happened was we were sitting down with Missy's dad and we were just watching TV on a late Sunday afternoon after we had a barbecue and all the family normal shit
On the Sabbath.
on the Sabbath, God's holy day. And and her dad, because he's the chief and commander of the household, and he was basically going through the channels and he runs on to some show and he's all, "Hey, have you ever seen this before? It's freaking hilarious." I'm like, "No, I have never seen this." And it was like male gigolo or something like that. Or it's okay.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was on TV. I thought you like.
to be one of those.
No,
I was
it
like
was
curious if you like typed something into Pornhub.
no, it was
like-
legit.
Does that
no,
really
it
matter
was
though?
just on the
Does
TV.
that matter? The
No,
premise of it is wait.
Was it Saturday?
It was on
it might.
cable.
How
It
much
might.
of it did
It
you
might.
watch? Was it,
Nobody
like,
changed the
5
channel.
minutes, or was it like?
So
He watched
hold
the whole
on.
thing.
But is it like? But were they thinking
At all.
the first one who moved was like, yeah, that
I
was the
don't
one who
know.
wanted
They
it,
could've-
like the first one who moved, so they just didn't move.
They
were just
really.
petrified.
Who thought of this shit first? All right, that's what I want to know. Who thought of it?
I'm saying they could have
Okay.
been watching like Texas Walker Rangers, some
Okay.
shit
Ninja
like that. You know?
Turtles,
And then you scroll over
something,
to it, I was
Ghostbusters.
like,
So many options. Fucking
Batman, the Keaton
Seinfeld.
version.
They're just coming up with their own
Yeah.
story.
All right, all
That
right.
used
So
to happen.
as your
that was
guys'
that was a thing.
as your
You hit the wrong
guys'
channel.
imaginations run wild, let me tell the real story. So he says, "Have you ever seen this Gigolo anal hero TV show?" And I'm like,
Love
"Oh
the
fuck,
title.
I've never seen this." And
Love it.
so he flips it on, and immediately, like in the first 30 seconds of the show, he goes to a gay sex scene. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there, and he starts laughing maniacally about this gay
Like he's
scene.
seen it before. Like he studied this tape.
No, like gay sex is fucking hilarious. He's sitting there and he's turning red. He's like, and all this is two dudes fucking. I didn't see anything funny about it whatsoever.
You just
So
got
my-
turned on.
It was
no,
a
I
setup.
didn't. And so my dear wife, she jumps up and she says, "Well, I'm gonna go to bed." And I'm like, "Fuck you." And so now,
Oh my god!
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Cockward.
Cockwork.
Were you guys were you still
shit right there? Cockwood.
were you still dating or were you married at the time?
we've been dating for years.
Date. Okay, so
Years
for
is like what, 5 or over
No.
5? Because there is
Like 2 years.
because 4 years I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Like we can't do this no more.
We got
We're not
married
going over
after being together for 10 years, and that'll be
Oh, okay.
4 years ago. So this January will
6
be
years.
14 years.
And the funny part is when Missy went to bed, ask him how long he still sat there with
Well,
Missy's
that's
dad.
when stuff
Oh.
got. Hold
Okay,
on,
wait. So let me
explain.
talk. So let me talk. So I go to the room, which my master bedroom is downstairs at my dad's house, and I go into the room that's right off the living room. So I go in there and I was like, "Yeah, I told you I had to go to bed
Nate,
because
have
I
him put
just
up the
got."
comments.
I said it just got really weird. My dad's put on porn and we're in there, so I just left. I'm not asleep. I just left the room. So he's like, "Great, you left me watching fucking porn with your dad. I can't just fucking
But
get
there's a
up."
reason why I didn't get up immediately, because I feel like it would have been like awkward. Like I would have been homophobic if I just jumped up. Oh, there's a fucking dick in a man's asshole, and I just jump
Let
up.
me tell you
I
something.
feel like I would have been homophobic. So I feel like I had to take one.
So if you're saying what you're saying by that standard, what you're saying, if he would have asked you to Dutch rudder him, you would have to take one for the team. You had to take one for the team. I mean, you're not touching him really. You're just helping him out.
Oh, don't do
Now
it.
I am not homophobic, and I felt like that was my time to shine because with a face like this and a beard like this, I look two things: racist and homophobic. That's what I look like.
About racist.
So I get that a lot. Believe me.
Now you shave your damn head, I'm gonna be looking a little sideways. Like, all right, this motherfucker here.
You should see him in blackface.
Wait, I was just gonna say. Wait.
Why you gotta bring that up?
Oh man,
Oh,
not the
yes.
blackface.
I'll come back to that in a
Another
second.
awkward moment brought to you by.
You support Gucci.
Wouldn't want to seem homophobic, but then you don't do black.
I was gonna say, Lil, did you know what kind of show you guys signed
Hold
up for
on.
tonight?
Oh, well.
Told him.
Right here.
Try to say it.
Yeah.
So basically, what had happened was he starts watching the gay porn, right? Missy jumps up and leaves me there on the couch with her dad, who's laughing maniacally at the gay porn, and I feel in this awkward position where I really want to get up and leave, but I'm not homophobic, and I want to prove that.
Okay.
So I stayed for the whole episode.
Was there popcorn?
There was no popcorn.
I'm saying, like, I want to know.
Because that makes the difference right
yeah,
there.
I mean, if there was popcorn, I'd be
Y'all
like,
had
let me
to
get that
have snacks of
first.
some type.
And then you go ahead with it.
At least there's popcorn.
Yeah, at least there's
Fair.
popcorn, right?
Something.
A beverage.
So I
Hey, you
sat
could've
there.
been like P. Diddy, you know what I mean? Having
Yeah. Now back to the blackface. Since Steph brought that up, and I can't just let that.
We'll just dive right into that, ladies and
Dive right back
gentlemen.
into that shit.
I cannot let that slide without addressing the situation and explaining myself since Steph brought it up.
Were you in a Quentin Tarantino movie?
No, I was not.
Then there is no reason to be in blackface.
Hilarious.
There's
I'll
I'll
no
tell you what, to our
reason.
production guys, can we get the cameras on the people on the couch too? Just, I don't want to, there we go. Okay. Anyways, now back on me because I'm the one talking.
Wow.
We got a crack show here.
No, now I consider, now I'm trying to dance around this without sounding racist.
I was gonna say, I can't wait to see
Ghana.
how you do this.
What you dancing?
Already there.
Already
Say
shucking and
this shit.
jiving. There it is.
Say it.
You get a shuck and jive in the conversation.
I think people that dress up as just, I'm a black person, that's racist as fuck.
How the fuck do you dress up like a black person?
What would that be?
I'm lost.
Like, what would be
I don't
the?
know.
How do you do that shit?
How do you go to a party like
That's saying
a black
you talk,
guy?
You
Like
sound
somebody
black.
goes,
How
I
do you
get it.
sound fucking black?
Like you got Frankenstein, you got the
That
mummy,
shit
a
goes-
black
Yeah,
guy. That's
AJ,
it.
wait
That's the
till you
one.
hear who he dressed up as.
I want to know the rest of this damn story. Keep going.
Yeah, and hang on, Romarick, you're basically as white as me, so you need to calm
That
the fuck
is true.
down.
I agree, but there still are standards there.
I wasn't dressed up as the black race. I was specifically dressed as
Little
A
John.
businessman.
Little John.
Little
A
John.
That's
lawyer.
not the black race. I've seen
A doctor.
Eminem dressed like that.
He was not dressed as
I
a
was
black
dressed
person.
as Little-
What was your
So-
interpretation
He
of
went
the
as a
black
person.
man?
Oh, as a person.
Oh,
Little-
no,
Little
it
John,
wasn't a
apparently.
black man. It was Little John.
Oh, with the grill?
I had the grill on. I had long hair. I had a crown. I had a
Where-
picture. I had
Dread, not
diamonds.
just long
Don't you
hair,
have that
dread.
picture somewhere?
Oh.
For legal reasons, I'm not showing that picture.
You should not. Not right now. It's
She
too hot
was-
on the block.
she
They'll
was-
get you for everything
She
on
was
social
Lady
media.
Gaga. She was Lady
Right? They'll
Gaga.
turn it
That
and
was an
flip it.
interesting ass couple right there.
She was
Very
Lady
loud.
Gaga, and I was Little Lane. Little Wayne. Or yeah,
Little Wayne.
No, Lil Jon.
Lil Jon.
Little John.
Yeah, they both
What?
got dreads.
Okay.
No.
That was it.
All night.
Okay.
All night, I wouldn't get out to put gas in the
Was it
car
Halloween
because
or-
You probably look like the dude from True Romance, the drug dealer. You remember that dude? Because he had the
Oh
drug.
man.
And
I
You
don't
know what I
remember
mean?
that.
He looked like the dude from True Romance. That's all I can see. Not a black dude. Like
his age right there.
that's as close as I can
Exposing
see.
age right there, man.
So, but I was not in black face because I wasn't representing the black race. I was representing a
Little
specific
John. You were representing
celebrity.
Little John.
Little
How
John.
did we get blackface mixed with that though?
I don't know.
It could be
I don't know. I
interpreted.
didn't say I'm going to do it again. Everybody's made mistakes. I knew it was a mistake when we pulled into the gas station in the ghetto, and
We
had to-
lived in the ghetto.
We
We
had to-
lived in
He
the
said he
ghetto.
pulled over.
we had
He
to we had to
didn't go from A
put
B.
we had to put gas in the car, and as I was getting ready to get out in my celebrity Little John blackface,
Uh-huh.
a Cadillac pulled up at the pump next to me with a
Just
bunch.
a black car.
Well, I don't remember what color the car was, but I remember what color the people in the car were. And I said, "There's
Were
no
they-
way in
were-
fuck I'm getting out of this car right now."
Did they look in any way like your costume?
You should have got out the car then.
Maybe they were in blackface too, but I'll tell you
Because
what,
that's the true test to a good costume. Like,
we look like quadruplets.
would
Let me
you be
just
able
say
to
that.
rock that
Oh.
outside the car?
You know, one time when I was a little kid, and my other forte into racist costumes. No, I went to a
So
private.
there's a
There's
premise
a
for it,
pattern.
then. It's
There's a
happened
pattern.
before.
Yes. When I was a little kid, man, I went to a little private school. You know, this private school was in a 4-bedroom house. It was very, very fucking small.
The whole school was in a 4-bedroom?
Sure.
Yes, the whole school was in a 4-bedroom house. We had like a graduating class of 2.
6.
Where was it?
That's like a cult.
This was-
Nuevo.
it was.
Right.
It was in Nuevo, out there past Paris, next to the dairies and all that kind of
Ugh.
stuff. So me and my buddy Leif,
Right.
who is Hispanic, We thought it was a bright idea. I was probably only in about 4th grade, and we thought it was a bright idea to dress up as Cho and Lo.
I was a cholo.
Yeah, that was the last time they put makeup
What
on my
was
face.
that? What was
Okay,
that
well,
idea?
I had
wanna know.
a Pendleton on with the top button buttoned. I had a white shirt on underneath. I had like khaki Dickies on, and I had Converse, and I actually put a black rinse in my hair. I slicked my hair back, and it was black, and I did my face brown, and we were Cho and Lo.
Mm.
And I thought it was all fun and games growing up in a pretty much predominantly white farming community because
Far away from danger.
far away from danger. But we were supposed to be going to a private party at my friend Jason Smith's house that night. And we were going there, but you know, we're kids. We're kids.
White name.
Jason Smith.
Yeah.
We know who the fuck he is.
So we're going to the party, but then we realized we've got like 2 hours to kill, man. We're kids. We want candy. Let's go trick-or-treating. You know what I mean? Well, we should have known when we pulled up to the house that had the wood plaque on the doorway that said Guerrero, and it had a couple lowriders in the
yes.
driveway.
Another tester of the costume. Nice.
Yes, because we're stupid and we don't pick up on those obvious signs, we walk up to the door and start knocking on it, and we're like, trick or treat, SA. And
you added that.
yeah, and so a guy
Cherish that moment
a
all
guy
your life.
a guy
Cherish that moment.
a guy opened the door that looked exactly like us, and they were having a little house party in the backyard, and all he
Probably
did
somebody's birthday.
all he did-
Somebody was having
By
a
little house party, I
quinceañera.
mean 50 people.
yeah. All he did was open the door and just invite us in like we were there for the fucking party. And we just took off running like crazy. There's no punchline to that story,
They
but
ain't
that's
supposed to play that
Hospitable,
shit off.
Hispanic. They're very hospitable.
Yeah, you got to go all the way. You got to commit, man. You got
I
to
would have
commit.
played that shit off, man. Like, yeah, this where the party at,
If
right?
you
How
would have
about-
walked out with a plate, then I would have been like,
Babe,
Tell you, mijo.
that would've
You
been
had
so-
Soon as he
another-
would've ran, I would've
you
fucked
had
up
another
there, my
Mexican
homie.
costume.
But
you know why you gotta bring up every racist? We get two extra
Wait.
black guys in the studio. You
There's
gotta bring
more.
up every
I was just
racist
gonna say,
fucking
just
thing
when
I've
you
done in my
think you've heard
goddamn
it
life.
all, there's one more.
There's
That's
so
the new
many.
thing
tell
right
the
now. That's
difference
new
who's
pop
black
culture.
on this show,
Is hate.
except for me.
No, but
I
it
say we
wasn't
should-
hate. This was like legit. Like I know I don't look Mexican, but I'm 100%
Fooled the
Mexican.
fuck out of me too. Made her like Lake Alice, and I
Canelo.
thought she was white.
Like legit, I am first generation here. I didn't even learn English until kindergarten. Legit, Mexican is all hell, but I know I don't look it. So we were
Until
having
you see her pissed off, then you know right away that she's fucking Hispanic as fuck.
The words go different.
a Halloween party at my sister's, and I always like to match. Like our costumes have to match. So I wanted to be a border patrol girl
For real?
as a costume,
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
like a sexy border patrol girl.
I,
It wasn't
15
like
years
that.
ago, that'd have been all right.
It was. It
15
was.
years ago, that'd have been all right.
No, but
I think-
no,
I
this
think it's-
isn't now. Like you can't think now.
Can't think.
No, this
no.
is
It was a
this
long
is
time ago.
far. All
No,
of these
it wasn't
costumes.
15 years ago. This was like 6 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Still-
Okay, it wasn't
7 years
15.
ago.
It was probably like 8 years ago.
And you made me feel
9
very
years ago.
awkward because you wanted to go to your family's
It was
birthday
at
party.
my
I'm
house.
releasing emotions right
As
now.
a border
You
patrol
made me
agent?
feel
I was. It was at my sister's
Okay,
house.
so you were a border patrol
No,
agent.
hold on,
What
hold
was
on.
Jake?
Hold on. Let's rewind this because just because the party was at her house, she is Hispanic, and we're talking a party at her house with like 150, 200 of her family there.
That's
So just her
science.
Okay.
brothers
That's
and
right.
sisters and
That's
first
about right.
cousins.
It makes sense, right?
They came in 7 cars.
Right?
So she comes to me. Now, first off, whenever we have a family event, whenever we have a family event, I'm one of the 2 white guys that shows up. And me and the other dude, I don't even know his name, but we always look at each other like, I got you, bro.
For real?
Like,
Every time?
every time.
Every time.
Now, what happens if one
I
misses?
would
Do you
love
guys
to
get
see
nervous?
this
Yes.
Why don't you know his name?
I don't know his name.
That's hilarious.
But so this party, she wanted to dress up as the sexy border patrol. So what does that make dumbass the racist Jake?
The border jumper?
She
Yeah, you
put me
came
in
from
a,
Canada.
She put me
I
in
put
a,
him in a
she put me
serape
in a
Captain
serape
America.
with a sombrero and a bag of oranges.
Oh shit!
Why have we never heard this story?
Because I'm ashamed of this shit, Tom.
Are you? Because you
Okay,
did it. You
but
did
like,
it.
like
You
I'm
did
telling
it.
you, like
You
this
had
was.
the choice,
But let me
sir.
tell you, like this
I
was
bet you was
so.
smiling the whole
I'm telling you,
time,
this was
like,
so
yeah,
long
hit him with
ago.
this shit.
Like it's not like how like racism is now. It wasn't
Right.
like that back
When
then.
it was cool and shit.
No, but like it wasn't looked
Back in the 90s.
no,
I thought
it
it was
wasn't
always bad.
no, it wasn't looked like that. Like it wasn't looked that way. So my whole family just laughed at him and they started just speaking to him in Spanish and he had no idea what
They do
were
that
saying.
shit when I'm in street clothes.
No.
You poor gringo.
You know how many hours of conversations I've had with your grandmother in
you know,
Spanish?
maybe you should learn Spanish then after 14
little
years. Just
Oh,
saying.
shit. That might be a good idea.
Just saying.
What's the word?
We've been together 14 years. You think
think
you
we
would
gotta
learn
get-
I
something?
think he does.
Steph, I think
know.
we gotta
He's
get
just playing
Jake
it off.
Rosetta
Just
Stone.
keep on talking. He's just listening to you talk.
Well, I'll tell you what. In case you guys weren't aware, we have 3 comedians with us tonight. Well, who we have is put them back up on the screen, so maybe I can go right to left and reverse that, even though I'm way
Hey,
too many
there we
shots
are.
in already. So right
sir.
there on the left side of your screen, you have.
Said dark to left.
Who said dark to left?
So it begins.
Who
Here
said
we
dark to left?
We look like the 3 different flavors of Oreo cookies right now. Like the 3 new flavors of Oreo
Romarick
cookies.
could be Hispanic, Puerto Rican,
Nah,
everything
yep.
except black right now. I'm telling you. Look
I
at this
can't
shit.
be. Yeah, my shirt. It's my shirt.
Okay,
It's hot
so
outside.
on the left side of your screen, we have Romarick. Say what's up, Romarick.
What's
Yeah,
up?
now,
What's up? What's up?
he's a comedian, and I saw him. I've seen him. I saw you one
We
time.
were
you
up-
know
well,
what?
The memorable time was up in Apple Valley. That
Yeah, where
was,
the hills have eyes and shit.
Yes, it was scary. I'm glad you guys had eyes, is what I'm saying. Thank you for having eyes and teeth. I
I'm
appreciate
glad y'all
you.
just didn't want to eat it, brother.
That's-
You know, try
that's
to get
what's
my
up.
kidneys and shit.
I was scared. That was the first time I ever did a show up there like that, and that was very interesting.
Now I thought that was the worst audience for a comedy show that I.
not at all.
No.
not
Like
at
try your
all.
material.
That's the
Oh.
gym.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
wasn't
at
a
least
bad
it wasn't at the Improv. At least it was at the Ice House.
how you
Now,
said that.
if it was at a venue where they have door, then obviously, yeah. But if you're stepping into somebody's drinking, yeah,
Yeah.
I would be mad if I had to change my.
Well,
fucking
you know
mix,
what
too.
was interesting, because I walked in there and it's just a bunch of cousin fuckers sitting around the bar, and I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people there were not aware that there was going to be a comedy show that
No.
was taking place.
Hey, I don't know.
But we knew, like
saw- I
legit.
saw a
That's why we
flyer.
went.
I
We
saw a
saw
flyer.
I seen a flyer. That was about it. That was
Yeah.
about
No,
it. I
I'm
seen a
saying like
flyer.
I'm pretty. They did do some promotion. I know.
Somebody did.
I
some
saw it on
promotion.
Facebook. I saw it on
But let's
Facebook.
be honest, though, Romarick,
means it's true.
how many of those people that were in that room at that time do you think could even read a promotion?
Well, okay, but you
They
know,
were
at the end of the
ancient in
day,
that motherfucker, though.
you're right. At the end of the day, though, there was people in that room, so we just got to make do. That's just like it is.
And
That's what
how
we
do you break the ice with a crowd like that, with a crowd that's
I don't
just
know. It's
Try
different
different
for
jokes.
everybody.
I mean, you did.
it's
you-
different for everybody, though.
You
Like, it
rolled
just
in that
depends.
night. You rolled in that night. That audience was out of control, and I happened to sit. I was happy. I
They were
happened to be
rough.
sitting next to the loudest person in the bar.
Yeah.
Remember that one
And
chick?
that dude and the guy, yeah, she was a lot. She was a lot.
She's like that all the
And
time.
then there was the good old boys at the table too. They were heckling.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been in blackface at Halloween.
I'm pretty sure. Many O times.
Now,
Probably
do
have
you-
some
do you-
messed
do you
up bed
adjust-
sheets as well.
Do you adjust your process based on the crowd?
It depends. You just gotta, for me, honestly, you gotta approach the energy with what the energy is. But just don't. For me, I don't like disrespecting the line. As long as you have a line between each other, then there's nothing you could ever cross. Now, sometimes that room there was no lines. It was like fuck your line.
Yeah,
He stomped on it.
it
But
was pretty bad.
you
Now,
just gotta figure it out. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, I
It's,
think
No.
you really have to go with the energy. Like, I'm not gonna change who I am on stage, like, but you do have to like
Dog
read the
himself.
room and see what's going on. You know?
well, and I saw. Now this is Ann Flagg, and Instagram. Yeah, there we go. In anticipation. So all of you insoles that like to jack off to chicks that you think you know, Ann's profile would be a good one for it, because
I
I was
have like a
She
lot
got a
of
premium.
tits on there.
I was-
on my
is this
ass
thumb
and shit.
approved? I don't know if this thumb
Yeah.
means
Y'all
anything.
get
But
that shit.
yeah, because I was
Yeah,
looking
gotta get
for.
them likes, you know.
I was looking for like a promo picture to do for the show, and I saw her ass, and I saw a lot of tit pics. It seemed like a lot of late at night, drunk after the bar pictures.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's
Now, Ann,
Sounds my
I
life.
saw you with Corey and Chad at the Dirty Improv show,
yeah, the Dirty Show, dude.
the Dirty
I
Show,
love
and you
that
killed it.
show. Thank you.
Yeah, you
I
killed
have so
it.
much fun. I have so much fun at that show because I know that I can basically say anything. Like a lot of other shows, you're like, oh, I don't know what the crowd's gonna be like, but that show, like, I go into my abortion material, I go into like my rape shit. It's like 'cause people are like ready for that.
Sounds like
You
some
know?
meme groups I'm part of.
I don't start off like on the that's
gonna
not
say,
the
sounds
first
like a
thing I talk
Tuesday.
about, but I like to, I like to push the boundaries. And
Now,
shit,
Tom, do you
so.
think her talking about abortion and rape is worse than me going as Little John for Halloween?
Listen, I'm one of those people that thinks that there is no line with comedy. I think comedians don't have a line.
Thank
They
you.
shouldn't
Are
have
you
a line.
sure?
More people
Are
like you in our audience.
I would,
Oh,
I would
no.
like to
To do it
test
the
that.
right
No.
I would like
way.
to test that.
No, I
You
no,
have
but
to
I
do
really
it the
think
right way.
like
it has
old
to be
school.
witty. It has to be smart. If
I
you
know.
do
I
it the
feel
right
you,
way,
but
you
this
can
is
talk
not an
about
old school.
anything.
Like that type of thinking
But
is
that's
almost
not
outdated
reality.
now.
No,
That's not reality.
Give me
That's
your
not
dirtiest,
reality.
and if I laugh, I'm fucking
No,
great.
it's not about dirty. It's
Yeah, that's
just,
what I'm
No,
saying. You
no,
have
fun.
to do it the right way. If it's witty and smart, you
Mm.
know, you can't just be like, blah, 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 like, you know, you can't just talk about something. It has to be in the form of a good joke, and then you can talk about anything.
I'm not saying that you should come straight out of the gates and just be and with the intention to be offensive. I think there's a difference between intending to be offensive versus just trying to be funny,
Right.
saying offensive shit.
Right.
But
yeah,
and-
yeah, I
it-
agree.
And I don't really think that there should be a line with comedians.
But don't you guys agree that the audience nowadays today? Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you ever have anybody come up to you after a show and say like, "Oh, I was so..." Becky comes up to you after the show and talks about how she was offended about whatever shit that you guys talked about.
I don't think I actually have, to
No.
be honest, because like I said, when I do like the dirty show, I know what kind of crowd it is, or like I'll like put the feelers out at the beginning of my set if I want to talk about something like that. But like, and sometimes there are jokes that I just don't tell because of the room, you know. But that's just me, you know. That's the way I approach it.
And you have like
Because
test jokes that
because
you
I
kind
want
of
us
throw
all to
out.
have a good
It depends.
time. I want us
it
all to
just-
have a good time
You know,
together.
it all like for that room, what you saw is me. Like I was really nervous because they were rough on the first 4 comics.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say I'm not even like boasting it up. Like it was rough for
Okay,
those
you know
comics,
who-
and one comic got booed, and I was like, "That's rude."
The white kid. Do you remember the white kid? I don't
They
remember his
can't
name.
talk shit about him, miss.
No, I'm not talking shit about him. The white kid that was there from like
Was the one where he was talking like he was like mad at the audience?
Yes,
Yes.
that kid.
okay, that kid. I'm not talking shit, but like they hated him.
Well, I think. See, but that's the thing. You got that energy was too high for that low of comedy energy.
That show
Now he
was-
might have
Yes.
he might have
okay.
jokes, but he didn't hit them where they were at. Like you
Right.
know what I mean? Like that's the difference. Like now he could probably go somewhere else where it's like mellow or something
Yeah.
like that, and he can do that. But
Yeah.
it just he didn't bring it.
Yeah.
All I can say is I didn't go up and
know your audience, man.
all
No,
I
yeah, like legit, like
hold on. I was sitting there, and I don't want to clown on anybody because anybody that's getting up and has the balls to
do.
go on stage to do this.
And at the end of the day, you got to
I ain't gonna lie,
respect
I'm
that.
glad.
That's for real.
But
Like
a lot
no
of
matter
people-
how bad you do,
I don't give a shit.
that's
But
still
at the
better than what
same
other people
time,
do.
some people shouldn't have the balls to get up there and do this.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
exactly. Exactly why
I'll
I
tell
would need
you
to
what.
clown your ass.
I'll tell
Get
you
your
what.
ass down.
Everybody has a bad
That
set
little-
every
that
once in a
little
while.
ginger-
We're all
that little-
still
that little-
learning.
That little
What did you
ginger
do?
white kid with the topsiders that
Yeah.
lives on a yacht on his daddy's, that's whatever, that did the comedy that night. I didn't go up and talk to him afterwards and give him my card and say, "Let's come on the show." I'm like, no. If I wanted to bomb, I can bomb on my own fucking self. I don't need you to help me.
I told him, I was like, oh yeah, we're
Hey
gonna
man,
do
this shit gonna be live. These motherfuckers gonna watch this and be like, man, he talking about me.
What's he gonna do?
Time, man.
What the
Look,
fuck is he
look.
gonna
Like, I didn't
do?
give a card.
Oh my god.
What's he gonna do? Take the penny out of his loafer and fucking throw it at me? Get the fuck out of
He
here.
gonna George Bush your ass. Like,
Oh,
We
okay.
had carpooled. You
What
guys,
I
we
was-
had carpooled. I know who you're talking about now. We're carpooled, and
I
was
would
like, yeah,
encourage him to
I got
call
this
in.
guy's card. We're gonna do a podcast. Like
call that motherfucker
everybody from the
right
show
now.
is gonna
I
do
gotta
it. You're gonna do it, right? And he was like, what are you talking about?
Get the fuck out of
Let's
here.
call him. Can we find him? What's his name?
Because I didn't know, because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know that he did so bad.
You know what's gonna happen? You guys,
Well,
you guys are gonna be carpooling to a show one day, and that weird topic's gonna come up.
I mean, it was just one of those shows. Everybody has a bad show. Like,
I get
there's
it.
no way to go, oh, this is
Yeah.
the worst set because
No,
you know
no.
what? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
one of those deals where it's
I'm
just
always
like,
I'm not
like-
saying that it
It's
was.
the gym.
I
Like
was
we're
just-
all like
no.
practicing.
it's
you know?
better that it was
Days
there.
That you go to the gym where you're lazy as fuck. You didn't take your pre-workout.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
And
then
it
you got
showed.
them
And
days
it
where you
showed.
showed up where you're like, now I'm about to beat
Boom.
this shit. You know, but you know them
I
days
felt
where you
ba-
showed up where you fucked up. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you yawning like, yeah, the crowd yawning too on your ass. You better start some shit.
No,
I think I was laughing because I just felt so bad for him. Like, oh,
It was rough.
It was
there were
so
some
rough.
gorillas. Those good old boys at
Yeah.
the table,
Yeah,
they
it was-
booed him a
hey,
couple times, and I was like,
That's crazy.
you know, what do you say? It's like their bar, but he's not really trying to For me, if you're not trying to approach the situation, then
And you have
should've
to
just-
connect. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
connect with the
Man,
audience.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
And I think
You
he
can
was
just go up and just do your jokes like
Yeah.
it's anywhere.
No,
Like you
you
have
can,
to,
but that
like-
will that
it won't
mainly
work.
will happen.
Hey,
That
hey,
mainly
you
will
might get a
happen.
boo.
Honestly, hey,
Most likely,
honestly, I
that
feel
will
like
happen.
comedy is like a first date.
Mm.
How you treat comedy is like a first date. You want a good impression.
Mhm.
So that takes you actually watching. That takes you actually noticing. And if you're doing that, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because if you run up against a bumpy road, they might be easy on you. But if you come in there
Yeah.
rough, don't nobody like that shit.
Yeah.
So pay attention. You know what I mean? Pay attention to who you talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, I may be experiencing this shit because I'm a brother. So I come at things. No, I'm just saying, no, on some
Make it
real
about
shit.
race again.
Hey,
No.
hey, 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 I gotta get on it.
Racist?
Hey, I gotta get on it because if you look at it, it's science to the shit. I'm
Yeah.
a brother, so I get approached in different type of ways.
Yeah,
These
like people
days,
are scared of you.
I gotta be prepared. Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
why.
he's a black dude in
I'm a
Victorville.
little
on the
dude.
same
Like I don't know
night.
why motherfuckers get nervous around me. But no,
I heard good
like,
old boys
I've
throwing
been
around.
that guy that I've had to
Oh, it's-
I've had to approach situations different ways all the time because of my skin. So of course I may be experienced, but as a comedian, if you love this shit,
Yeah.
you're paying attention to who you're talking to.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like going and talking to a person and not even looking at them. Like if you're doing that, you're gonna bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna
for
fucking bomb.
Right.
That's for sure.
Straight up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Unless
if
you
you're
got it
paying
like that,
attention, you'll
I
be
mean,
all right.
I just haven't seen it yet.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Now, do
But-
you guys mess with people in the audience? Like, just like, do you work that into your show?
I mean, it depends. It depends. Like if the crowd's reactive, like like what Ann said, she has her fillers or testers.
Yeah.
If the crowd reacts to a certain joke of mine that I know I'm doing it for a specific reason to see, like, hey, if they like these type of jokes, I could keep going with those jokes.
Yeah.
Then if they react, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
But the reaction comes off if you can joke on them. It's a lot of people that don't like that. But if you're at like a comedy show where they're expecting it, you can joke on them.
the last
They
dirty
know.
show I did, I called the audience fat.
Oh shit.
Oh, you did.
Like, I was like, I'm not calling you guys fat, but you're not thin. And
That's
they
some real
liked
shit.
it, but it was because like we had already. It was like towards the end of my set, and we'd had this rapport already. And
And that's
But
one
yeah,
hell of a
it-
crowd over there because that is the biggest, thickest white trash crowd I've seen at a
Yeah.
comedy show in a long
Yeah.
time.
So they're used to being called
You said
fat.
it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that
say
and run
that
with
shit.
it. I'm gonna
You
take
said
that and
it.
run with it.
No,
I got
for
I
sure.
can roll with it now because you
Yeah, I
said
can
it.
run it. I
No,
thought
no.
everybody thought I was exaggerating, but you said it.
No. That no. Well, you're talking about the one up there in Apple Valley that I
Yes.
saw you. I'm talking about the one she was at with Corey and Chad at the Ontario Improv.
because they're
Like
white
they
trash,
go
so
to the
their
local
audience-
trailer park and just give out free tickets because these are a bunch of toothless fucking meth
Yeah.
heads sitting in that audience.
America.
America. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely hardcore Trump supporters in
Fucking
that audience.
rednecks. I love them.
They're part of our system, sir. No,
I love them too.
No, but that show was funny, and I thought Ann killed it. She came out, you know, and she started off, and but Corey and Chad, dude, those are two funny fuckers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told
Really
my
good
dad
guys.
that we had comedians on tonight, and he's like, "Oh, really? Who?" And I was like, "Well, two you don't know, but I told you about that they were up at the hill."
I wonder which two.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Stop."
Which two does
No,
he not
and then-
know? I'm
Start a
wondering.
poll
Wait,
right now.
and then I was like,
because-
and then remember when we went to the improv, and then there was a little petite white girl. He's like, "Oh yeah, she was fucking funny." He's like,
All right,
Oh.
so she's the one. So it comes down to
You
the
know who we
brothers.
not talking about.
"No,
Battle
because
to
It's
the
the
death.
dark
I got
spot.
swords
No.
in the closet over there.
baloney." It was only because he had seen her at the improv. If you guys would have been at the
And-
improv, I would
and that's- and that's another
Hey,
thing.
hey, speaking of fucking improv, man, improv need to hit me up, man. Put me back on this
Oh.
fucking camera. Improv, if y'all see this fucking video, get me in there, man.
Stop. You have to.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have an amateur night.
I know. I want to come see. I want to come see Chad on the Dirty Show. I want to see him get in with
Just
that crowd.
one.
I want to see AJ and these guys get in there with the.
Well,
With
you know,
the dirty crowd.
The funny thing is, and Ann started off the night. I mean, Corey and Chad, they come out and they do their whole like first. They must go for like 20 minutes, just
They do,
riffing
they do like 40, I think. Or
at the
30 or
beginning of the
something.
show, right?
I thought
30.
it was like 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
and they're
something
pretty
like
much
that.
just riffing. They go into a couple of their bits, but they're basically
Yeah.
just riffing with the audience.
Yeah,
Then here
yeah.
comes Ann.
Have a good time.
And Ann's set is a little sexual. And of course, I'm sitting there with Missy's dad, whom I apparently subscribe to gay porn with.
Watch gay
Yeah.
porn with.
I remember that story.
And
In other words, he was comfortable.
every time,
He was good.
every time Ann would say something extremely dirty, her dad is like, because he laughs at everything, and he'd be like elbowing me, like turning red on the face, on the verge of passing out. He'd be like, and he'd point at me, and it's like, dude, I don't want you pointing at me when Ant's talking about fucking dudes doing Kegel exercises.
Brother, we watch gay porn together. You're in for life, brother.
No,
you gotta share everything. You are in that. Vida loca, it's going down.
For
You
me to
watch
hear
the
that,
dick
I'm
going to
like-
dudes, but you're a part of that system. You're in there.
You know, he's trying. He
5
was saying- he was like,
seconds, 10
Okay,
seconds, 5 minutes,
AJ,
10
you mean to
minutes.
tell me that in all your years you never experimented with anything
What you mean?
other than a
You gotta
vagina?
be specific
That's what I'm
with that
talking about.
question.
Other than a vagina, like have you ever experimented with a dude at all?
Hell, what the
No.
fuck? Hell
Not
no.
ever.
Wow.
Come
I am
on.
straight. Like you can't get no straighter than AJ.
Have
I'm just
you?
gonna let you know.
See, no, I haven't.
Well, why
But
are
I'm
you?
not
You
interviewing
don't
me.
get
I'm
no
interviewing him.
this is
Well,
this is
I
the.
mean, I'm just saying.
This would be a good time if you're ready.
Question.
This would be a good
Yeah,
time.
come with this shit. Come on.
No, I'm just
I got a
asking.
bunch of hugs.
Never. I mean, that sounds almost a little homophobic to me.
Not even
no?
a thought.
No,
Wait,
not at all.
homophobic.
I
I'm
think
not-
you need
I
to
got
watch
gay
some
cousins,
gay porn so
man.
you can prove to him that you're not homophobic.
No, that's what I was
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah,
say. That
thank
I was
you.
What
just
did you
gonna.
say? I
I
can't.
was about to say that
You
shit.
cannot respond with an excuse like,
No.
oh, I got like, because it's like, yeah, now you're trying to.
That's what he
said.
How valid is
Don't
that
play
now?
me.
Let me see your card now. I want to see it now.
Black friends.
Let's go find them.
Now,
See your text messages now.
Now I really want to test you. Let's
as we're talking about AJ's dating life, you know,
My dating life now. Oh shit.
Romarick, I mean, speaking, are you single? Or are you?
I am very single. I'm like Prince of Persia single, like
Now,
the
do you-
desert running the dry.
Now, do you find it in today's society with the Me Too movement and everything that's a little hard to date? I mean, how are you
I don't
finding
think
chicks?
it was the Me Too movement, but now you can call it that. But it's cool. I just think it's a lot.
It wasn't the Me Too movement. It
Nah,
was the
not at
Not Me
all.
movement.
I just, for me personally, I just think that we lost our etiquettes. Like there used to be a rhythm and a rhyme to
Yeah.
it, and now it's just you're
Respect.
just pulling it out and slapping it in her face. It's
Hey.
just like
Swipe left, swipe right.
right there it is. Done.
and then the
Done.
first
An item.
message you get is I eat ass, and I'm like, why are
Wow.
you
Yeah,
like on Tinder?
Well, if you
like,
go
that's,
straight to the
first
top,
thing people
everything
say,
else is
and
the
I'm like,
bottom.
oh, God.
I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I came from a different time where it was like you had to ask the girl to out on a date before you even did anything.
Before you ate her ass.
Before you
Girl
even
on a
did
date
anything,
today,
you just
she's
had to
like,
take
you
her out
old
to show her
nigga.
that you got
You know?
money or a job. You know what I mean? Like you got to show her, like, yo,
Disrespect.
I'm old
That's gotta pay
too.
for that.
I see it.
Now you just buy dinner and then just whip your shit out and just like.
I'm an old
Sometimes-
You
dude.
could get a
Well-
girl a fucking Happy Meal.
well, I'm gonna tell you
Cheeseburger,
now.
get some pussy.
Thank God there's
Is
no
that
cameras
easy
from the
now?
'90s
I'm
because
serious. It's sad.
a lot of motherfuckers are being
That
jailed
sounds
right
like
now.
a lot of disease.
That sounds like a lot of STDs going
Yeah, sure the
around.
fuck do.
How's
Who's
that now?
starting this shit?
Wow,
That's
I'm just
scary.
gonna-
All right, well, hang on.
That conversation.
I'm just
Romarick,
Yes.
I mean, the whole Me Too movement that's going on right now. Has that
It's not
impacted
going
your
there.
has that impacted your dating life at all? Like, are you afraid to go up to a chick at a bar?
I've always been afraid though. That's just me. I've always been an introvert.
I don't think
But
it's afraid.
it's like, for me, it's
Own
fair.
that shit.
Nah,
Make your
see,
Virgo,
look at this.
man.
Look at this. You see how the brothers. I do own it, but it's just for me. I like organic conversations, and for me, I always overthink the process of talking to a person. So it's hard for me to start that. But if it starts, I know how to jump in it.
You just got
But
some
I could
girls'
never,
panties
I
wet
could never
right
be
now.
the
They
one to be
that
like, yo,
shit.
let's go and start this conversation. That's
Well,
not.
what about being a stand-up comedian? So you're
Yeah.
out there, probably 4 nights a week doing
Mhm.
what you do. And I mean, there's got to be those. What do you call a comic groupie that's out there at the
chuckle
show?
fucker.
Oh, there
A
she
chuckle
is.
A
fucker.
chuckle fucker.
Shout out.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's a good
Some
one.
chocolate fuckers. Yes.
No, that I've been accused, and I'm like, bitch, I'm a comic. Like, I'm a fucking,
That's funny.
So,
Okay, for you, you're single
Uh-huh.
and you're doing this
Uh-huh.
and you're out there. I mean, how are you meeting chicks? Are you meeting them at your?
I'm not. Honestly, I am. But you know what? You know what's funny is I am meeting them, but it's just like I'm meeting the ratio of meeting normal chicks to a regular
He said
normal chick to a chick that just want to dump all her problems on you. Like it's not good. It's just not good. A lot of that stuff. There's a lot of mental health isures in the United States of America. I just want to address that. The Me Too movement and everything else. It's mental health. It's mental health. A lot of these dating websites as well. Like, have you guys ever done the dating websites?
yes.
No.
I have
Tinder.
actually, I've had some
No
really
morals.
weird dates on Tinder,
Tinder's
but I've
a
actually
guarantee.
met some really nice guys off of
On Tinder.
Nice
Yes.
guys, of course.
Yes. I've met some really,
Of
really
course.
cool people.
Now,
from
nice
Tinder.
enough to sleep with?
Yeah. I swear.
God,
yeah.
What?
No, nothing. Just
Whatever.
laughing.
I'm a hoe. Get over it.
No. It's
I don't
not a whole.
fucking-
It's just no.
As long as I
They were
can
nice
say
enough
that.
to.
Like,
Where
No, but
are
I-
you? I'm saying clone you 10 more times and then.
Like what type of hoe though? Like
I mean, I'm a
you
nice.
just letting everybody like the
I'm
mailman
a
hit
nice
too?
girl. I'm a nice girl. I like to get to know somebody. I like to
You
go
down
on
with threesomes
dates.
and shit?
Like,
Oh
She's
my
like, "Do you have a
God.
job? Let's go."
and everything.
Can you pay taxes? Let's go.
Yeah.
Wait a
Do
minute.
you
So
drive for Uber?
Hilarious.
Would I drive?
Wait,
I've been working
No,
for
I would
Lyft for
never
about
do
6
hold
that.
on,
months.
hold
That's
on.
I would
funny.
never do
Hold
that.
on.
Sorry.
That's too much.
Oh, I would never.
Now
do
let me
that.
ask you this: is Lyft considered a career? Ladies, can we chime in? Is Lyft
Yeah,
considered
I
a
think
career?
so.
I'm pretty sure that's a taxi
Like if
driver.
I told
I think
you
it's more of a job.
I do Lyft, that's it.
That's a
It's a
taxi
job.
driver.
That's
in my
it.
book.
it's a taxi driver.
Is that's my job?
Limo
Yeah, that's a
driver,
job.
maybe.
That's your hustle.
Limo
But
driver.
I don't know
Who you drive for.
Is that considered your career?
I don't know if I'd say career, but it's a job. It's paying it helps pays the bills, whatever
It's a job,
makes.
yeah.
Now, Ann,
Yeah.
and you were talking about how you do Tinder date.
I have, yes.
You have
No.
yes.
I'm
Uh-huh.
saying just Lyft. Let's just say I just did Lyft. That's it.
That's a valid job. I think so.
If it pays for your bills and puts food in your stomach,
That's
it's a
all that
fucking
matters.
job.
Yeah.
It's a
That's all.
job.
that
How
matters.
long before it becomes a
Okay.
career? Like before this conversation, be like, yeah, man, of course.
It
Well, I
depends.
think when you have,
It depends on the law. What about whoring?
See,
Well, I mean,
Is that a legitimate career in the eyes of the law?
For
I would say no.
gigolos.
In everyday
In the eyes
life,
of
I would say
circumstances,
yes.
in the
Yeah.
under the
I've
Fuck
sugar
yeah.
dated before.
Would
I
you
did the
date a
sugar dating
gigolo
thing.
and
hold on.
Sugar daddies.
Hold on. Let's rewind to that right there. So, and you guys calm down so we can hear Ann. I know she's the petite little blonde here in the room, and we can overpower her with our voices and stuff. But you did do the online dating, and I had some friends that were in this. You did the whole sugar daddy thing.
Yeah. Really
Oh.
worked for me.
Interesting.
It's
How much were
great.
you getting?
It depends.
I hear you pimping.
Highest and lowest. Let's say highest and
I
lowest.
want to know now.
I think so. Like, okay, so like if I would like go to dinner with somebody or like
Mm.
lunch or whatever, it's like at least $100
To go eat
just
lunch with a
to
person?
go eat lunch with a
For how
person.
long?
Yeah, just to have lunch and then,
100
and then I
they pay
leave
for lunch.
after.
Ain't no fucking way.
And he pays for lunch, and it's a nice place.
You know, funny thing,
That's
she's even
interesting.
talking about that.
And you a pimp. Fuck
there's
that.
like a whole movement on that.
Dude, I had a chance to, well, I mean, you guys know, but you didn't know. I had a chance to go to the Bahamas recently.
Yeah.
And
You didn't take it.
no, I went. It was a family trip, you know,
Okay.
just off the
Yeah.
coast of Florida. It's like a 3-day thing. It wasn't expensive,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't want to talk like I was doing big shit. But we got on the fucking island, and we rolled around with like a couple of people that were also in the van with us on this tour of the island. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right.
It was an old white dude and it was an old white woman. She was single. She was single, and it was like a divorcee / widow type thing where she paid this old dude to go on the trip with her so that she wouldn't go by herself.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes
so
sense,
she-
right?
she-
Where
paid
are
for the
these
trip.
applications
I've done that
at on
shit.
Craigslist?
She paid for the
I'm
trip.
Hey, do that shit, bro.
Yeah. She paid for the trip. She paid for, all the little drinks and all the things. And then
Yeah.
she also paid him to go.
Yeah.
There are sugar dating sites where you go on just to find somebody to travel
Fuck
with.
they
What
at?
have I been doing
To travel
this whole
with.
time? I've been
I
on
just
plenty of
leave it
fish.
randomly.
What am I doing? What am I
You
doing?
could totally
You're
sugar
wasting your
date. Oh, you
talents.
could totally sugar
I'm over
date.
here just
You could totally do it.
I thought
America,
it
you
was
need
the
to find
greatest
you
thing
some
ever, though.
cougars.
Nah, it was super cool stuff, though.
No.
He can't get no cougar, man.
can't. Nah, I look like cougar bait. That's what it is. Like I'm just.
You
They
wouldn't
want
want
this
to
nigga's
hang out with an
paycheck.
older
But you
woman.
know, a cougar for me is older. Like a cougar for me
me,
would be
they
like
won't be.
80.
And sometimes, and they're not all older. Like
That's
not all
gross.
sugar daddies are older. Sometimes
I'm
they're
that
like
old.
pretty young, but they just have like a really fast paced career and they
Big
don't have time to
bankroll.
like date. So
Huh.
they're just like, so they're not all old men. I
I'm
don't
just
know how
not
it is
saying
for
anything and
women.
staring at
I
you
would
because I'm
like
waiting
to-
to see what you're gonna fucking say next.
I'm interested. I would like. Is there like a careers? Is there like a careers.com I can apply for? This?
Do you think you could make a career out of that, dating old or sugar daddies
think-
and,
honestly,
and not working?
I was supporting
Wait, you
myself.
said yes to sugar daddies, nigga?
I was
easy
supporting
with the
myself
N-word.
for a
I'm
while,
about to
just doing
say,
that.
man, you
I was
Hold
doing
out.
comedy and
We don't
supporting
judge around
myself with
here,
that,
so-
and it worked out for me.
Hold on. I can't hear Ann talking because everybody's talking, but
I don't know if I would call it a career, but I was definitely supporting myself from that.
From
And
sugar
then
daddies.
yeah.
How long? For how long?
Maybe like a year or so.
And
Weird.
and did you have multiple?
Boyfriends, yeah.
Yeah.
Or daddies.
Or daddies?
I called
yeah.
them boyfriends. I called them boyfriends because I would never spend that much time with somebody I didn't like.
What's the best thing that you've done?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Like-
But what I understand about the sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship is a lot of times it's not sexual at all.
Oh yeah.
Not sexual. You're just
Yeah.
dating these guys and they're paying for your cell phone, they're paying your apartment and that kind of shit.
I mean, yeah, like it varies. Every relationship looks a little bit different because people are looking for different things.
That
but
makes
yeah.
sense. I get it.
What did you spend most of the time, just in conversation with these guys, cuddling up, Netflix and no dick, or what were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it was a situation like, if I liked the guy and things were going really good, like the situation might change. But it was a lot of conversation. It was a lot of chilling. Like we go to, like the beach, do fun things together. Go shopping.
Did you go on any vacations with these guys?
Not like big things, but like Vegas.
Weekend trips.
Yeah.
Down to San Diego, over to
Yeah.
Vegas, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Huh. And you did that for a year.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Word.
Yeah.
AJ, have you ever been paid to hang out with a chick, or what's going on?
3 times.
Three times? You got
3
stories
times.
about this?
Yeah.
You're
I want to
homophobic.
hear about
With the
it.
chick?
I want to hear
It
it.
was I've only got paid for sex one time. And that was
Okay,
weird.
that makes you a prostitute, just saying.
Nah, I ain't no damn
But
prostitute. The
it's
shit was
past
actually
the
weird.
statute
how
of
she did this
limitations,
shit.
so
It depends on what he was
I don't
paid
know how.
in.
Huh?
Depends on what you were paid in.
What do you mean? I was paid.
Well,
Well,
you could be
I
okay.
mean, she gave me some bread.
That's
Like, it was kind of weird.
It could have been.
Well, anyways,
literal bread.
Hold on. Hey, calm down, everybody. Calm down. So we can actually hear AJ and tell his story of where he got, a grand stuffed in his banana hammock when he was hanging out on the beach in
my
Palm
man.
Springs.
I mean,
But seriously, you got paid for sex one time?
yeah, $250. Wow.
$250.
Yeah, $250 by a fucking truck driver.
A truck
What was
driver.
his name? What was
It
his
was
name,
a
Mr.
fucking female.
Homophobic?
Don't play me, guys.
His name was
Don't play me,
Cletus,
dude.
and he's been on the road for some time.
Hey, y'all
truck
need to
driver,
put
you
straight on my motherfucking
You got
head,
a purty
all right?
mouth.
Everybody's
You trying to play? What are you trying to get out of me? All right?
Everybody's got to. Well, apparently for $250, I get anything out of you. So.
Only if you're a female, know what I'm saying? And you gotta look good too.
Calm down.
Shit.
Now, I don't know if you guys live in the same world that I do, but any female.
female truck driver and she looked good.
Yes.
Bullshit!
Oh,
That's a
okay.
fucking
Hey, y'all
unicorn.
can call that shit
That
all
was a
you want.
unicorn. It was a unicorn.
Wait,
It
wait,
was a unicorn.
Show us a
What's
picture.
up?
Okay, hold on.
She was from Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
She was from Atlanta.
Which is
And
a
I
very
was
high
working
gay
as a security
population,
guard.
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
In fucking at the Ontario TA.
I believe it.
Okay.
Okay.
The Ontario TA.
I believe it.
Now, if you know the Ontario
It's a
TA,
big truck stop.
that's a truck
I believe
stop
it.
for people
Yeah.
from all across the
So
country.
how
Okay.
long had you
Okay.
been? How long had you been a lot lizard at the TA truck stop before you nailed one?
I arrested a lot of them
lizards.
motherfuckers.
He
But
was
nah,
securing it. He was
this
the
shit only
security
happened one
guy.
time. This shit only happened one time, and like I said, the lady was fucking fine. It threw me the fuck off.
Now,
I didn't
how
think-
long did it take you before you didn't think it was a setup?
What you mean?
Yeah, I would've
Honestly,
thought,
and I'm glad you asked me.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad, hey, don't play me that. I'm glad you asked me that
He was
shit.
caught.
Because I was shocked.
Rewind it to the beginning. So you're a security guard at the TA truck
Yes,
stop.
exactly.
You're just minding your own business,
Exactly.
Doing my
freaking
job, you
doing
know
your
what
job, kicking out the lot lizards. Then all of a sudden, tell me about that night. I want to know it from the
Was
front
he-
to the
This
back.
was actually during the day. I was working swing shift. I was 2 to 10.
Okay.
So, anyways, I showed up.
Swing shift.
Yep,
I
swinging.
I
run.
had my
What
gun in
does
my
he
belt
look
over my
like?
I'm
shoulder.
swinging.
What's he
'Cause I
look
was
like?
supervisor.
Okay.
Anyways, so I'm entering the TA. I'm in the back area. But in this area, all the truck drivers sick because they're eating, chilling, smoking, all that shit. She's coming out. She stopped me in my motherfucking tracks. That's how fine she was. I was like, you don't, and I'm not saying fine. Now let me give you the levels,
You
okay?
literally
Let me
said-
give you the levels.
At this
Let
point,
me,
it
there's
doesn't matter
levels to
what you
this
say
shit.
because you've already hit. So
She
it's
stopped
like,
me in my tracks.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck, and I'm not ashamed
There's
of
no
it. Like I said, the lady was fucking.
Hold
There's
on,
no
let
back-
AJ tell the story.
Like I said, there's
So
levels.
she's
to this
coming
shit.
out of the
For a
cafe.
truck driver, this lady, I didn't think she was a fucking truck driver. I thought she was just coming through. So, anyways, we made eye contact. I seen the lady. Come to find out she was a truck driver. My job is to check on all the people that are out there in the lots.
And you checked on her, boy.
Of course, I checked on her.
You all right?
You
You all
Sure I
right?
checked her ass
All right,
first.
all right. So she's walking out of the
You know, there's a lot of
cafe.
lot lizards out here.
Hell
She's walking out of the.
yeah.
Hold on.
We
She's
gotta
walking.
kick the motherfuckers out.
She's walking out of the cafe. I wish I could find out which fucking mic is making noise, but I don't see it. But anyways, so she's walking out of the cafe, and you think that she's just a patron or something, but you go over to her to check out and see what she's up to, but you want to make sure she's not a prostitute.
First. I didn't check out shit. She's coming out. We made eye contact. I smiled at her. Said, "How you doing?" She said, "How you doing?" Bam. We walk off. We do our thing. But like I said, she was there for 3 days.
No, not Bam, not Bam. Did
Now
she
I know what it
say,
is.
And the
"I wanna
director
have
was
sex
like,
with you, and I'm gonna
yeah.
pay you for it"?
No, what
Or-
the fuck? No, it was nothing like that.
So it was just
Wait a
like,
minute,
oh,
wait a
she's
minute,
hot.
wait a
We're
minute,
gonna
wait
hook
a
up, and
minute.
then
Yeah,
that's
this was
the
one
end
of
of it.
those.
And then she
You're
handed
attractive.
you,
I'm
and then
attractive.
she
I don't
handed
see
you.
no attractive motherfuckers
You
in
could have
here.
had it for free, but then she gave you money anyway.
Yeah, she gave me some money. I mean, what's the
So
problem
you
with
said
that?
nothing all the way till penetration? It was a silent fucking movie the whole time?
No,
You're telling me?
motherfucker.
Like-
Can I get to the story?
Like,
Can I
all
get to
the
the
way
story?
until
Like I
penetration?
said,
All right, hold on. Let AJ tell the
Like I said,
goddamn
y'all
story.
play, but it's
Hold on,
okay.
hold on.
For the story.
So how many before this? How many other times in your life have you met a random chick that just wanted to fuck right then and there?
They weren't randoms.
I mean, that's what I'm asking. How
No,
many
this
other
was-
times in
this
your
was
life
one
has that
random.
happened?
This was one
Okay.
random, but he
But
said
how
it was
many
a-
other times in your life has
That
that
was the
ever
only time
happened?
where
That
some
was the
shit like
only
that happened
time.
to me on some random shit. Like
Okay,
that.
so you're
Okay.
so you're walking
Okay.
out. You walk up. You walk up to
Okay.
her, and she looks like Janet Jackson and stuff, like fucking 10 years
Why
ago.
you gotta be Janet? Why can't it be like Sanaya Lathan? You know, I like caramel skin.
I don't know who the fuck that is, but whatever. Okay,
You didn't
so
tell us what she looked like. You just said-
Anyways, like I said, she was a beautiful woman for a fucking truck driver, and I didn't think she was a truck driver.
okay.
So, anyways,
So you walk up to her. What do you say?
I just said how she was doing. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" That's it. But anyway, we keep pushing. Like I said, she was there for 3 days, so I seen her all throughout the day. It was easy approaches, all that. So casually throughout the day, I made bullshit conversation with her. She would laugh at shit, and
Okay.
slowly
That
but
makes
surely.
You didn't just talk and then.
No, it wasn't like
Okay,
no,
that's how you- that's how you
no.
explained
Like
it.
I said,
Okay.
the reason why I'm explaining is because
Okay.
Flirting.
yes, hell
Flirted.
yeah.
Okay,
Hell
that
yeah.
makes more sense.
I just want to know
First, it seemed
if this
like
was-
Yeah,
we
you
made eye
met and
contact,
then.
we went back.
Yeah, that's how it
Okay, all right, now
sounded.
time out.
was this
Now let's get
before
real.
or after
Now
he
let's get
noticed the
real.
Adam's
Okay.
apple?
Let's get real.
Let's get real.
Okay,
The
hold on.
normal person,
Uh-huh.
and we're talking about normal. We ain't talking about you.
Who's normal?
Okay. The
Oh.
normal person ain't just gonna walk up to you and be like, "I want to fuck you."
Oh yeah, I
The
would do
normal
that, you're
person
right.
isn't gonna do it. So yes, of course it's gonna be an eye contact, but you know within that eye contact, it's something else with that shit. They fuck you with their fucking eyes.
Yeah.
And I know you've had that before. If you haven't, I'm sorry for you. I mean, you may experience that one of your days. If not,
That's funny.
fuck.
What if she thought she forgot to turn off the iron? Like she just like
What?
you just
She had a funny
miscommunicated. Like that would have been an
fucking way of
awkward
showing
minute.
Cell phone in the
Like,
car.
oh shit, and he's like, yeah, I'm about to get this.
Hey,
Okay,
like I
so
said,
then-
she was there all day.
so
Like I
then-
said,
I can dig that, though.
Over
conversation
the course
throughout the entire day.
Now,
Yeah.
were you on the?
When I
Were
got
you on
off
the
work-
clock? Were you on the clock?
So,
Yeah, I was on the clock throughout the whole day. Yeah.
He was on the
Making
clock and she was on the
bullshit
cock. But let's
Doing my job.
go with it.
Okay.
Hold on.
Doing my
Okay.
job.
So
Okay.
she gave you. She's there. Why is she hanging out there all day long?
Because she was there for 3 days. Her, I guess she was waiting on a
They
transfer.
have like
for
layovers and
load.
stuff.
Yeah.
They're waiting on
sometimes
loads
they're
and shit like
chilling.
that. So anyway, she was there for 3 days. So like the
How do you
third
know
day,
that?
she was like, "I'm gonna fucking leave," and I was like, "Yo, we should hang out." So after work, I decided like, "Yo, let's hit Ontario." It was a little bar. We hit the bar. We shooting the shit. Next thing you know, we go to her hotel because she was with a truck company that had dough. They paid very fucking good.
So wait a minute.
She
Wait.
got paid.
Hold on. I'm just gonna point out this flaw in the story. So she had a truck at TA,
Yeah.
but she had a hotel room. Why the fuck was she hanging out at the truck
Because
stop?
the TA is just like a market. They don't have rooms. It's just like
Yeah, well,
showers.
I
and-
know. So if she had a hotel room for those 3 days, why did she keep going back to the TA?
Because she saw
She
him.
wanted to
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay.
go to the
Thunder,
lot.
son.
And not just that, at the lot, you have to check in every day because if you don't, the people will walk around and give you a ticket. So she had
Okay,
to check
all
in
right,
every
all
day.
Yeah.
So that's the same.
So you run into her for the third day, and she says she's taking off tomorrow. She's letting you know.
Hell
That was a blatant like, hey.
I knew what the fuck she was saying.
She was saying time is ticking, motherfucker, and I'm out
Like,
here
yo,
tomorrow.
we need to hang out.
If
So
you're gonna
I-
hit this shit, we've got 24 hours
Okay,
to
so
do it.
now, in retrospect to your question earlier about hashtag Me Too, this is where I would get caught up because I'm like, yo, this is a trap. I would believe it's a trap.
you would.
Now I
After
would.
3 days of
Back
casual
then I
conversation,
wouldn't, but now I would.
No.
That would be a trap.
No,
If you've been
not after 3 days.
I would be
I
scared
think
then.
after 3
Then I would be
days-
scared
No,
to
yeah.
answer
After
that
3
question.
days, you know what time it
You
is.
got a pretty decent vibe.
You know
about
what
the
time it
chick.
is.
Hey, somebody give AJ that blue mic. Give AJ the blue mic because I think the cord on his mic is bad and it keeps crackling. And I think I've narrowed it down to that. Make sure you turn it on before you give it to him.
She didn't say anything about.
Let's just throw
the money.
$1,000 around.
Nobody
Listen.
never mentioned the money. That was the shit.
AJ, grab that mic.
Until after.
Did you guys turn it
She
on?
didn't even fucking
Yes.
say anything about the money. Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
It's on.
And we
There you
go.
It's way
You're good.
on.
You're good. You're good.
I got the royal color. That's what I'm talking about.
So then after she was just like, here's money.
No,
Or
it
how
was
did
it
that-
was on some whatever what we were talking about. You know what I mean? We had a deep conversation. Like I said, she was a cool chick. We're having a deep conversation.
Uh-huh.
And the way she went about it was like she was like doing me a favor. Like, I know what you're about. Because what I was telling her about was my business that I was running. And she was like, I want to contribute. So she
Wait. To your
That's
business
cool.
at the time. So you were a security officer at the TA truck stop. But what was your side business at the time?
I sold t-shirts and shit with like my local
Like at
company.
concerts, like for $5 on leaving the Elton John
Nah,
show.
hell,
He said Elton John.
no.
Well, I'm asking. I don't know.
No,
I would
no.
probably buy one.
This
too.
was more like
They're
on
cheaper
some
outside
teen
than
shit.
they are
The shit was
inside.
called
$5
Vibe.
instead of like
The shit was called
60.
Vibe. That was like a little brand. The shit was
Like
called
fashion
Vibe.
t-shirt.
Yeah, like
Vibe.
little
Fashion
bullshit ass
t-shirts.
t-shirts. I have like
Yeah.
little insignias and little. I would sell it
Yeah.
like my main customers were between the ages of like 19 and 25.
Okay.
And it was called
that
Vibe.
Yeah, it was called
And
Vibe.
that was your
Fashion
brand.
tees.
That was like a
Fashion
little
tees.
brand that I did, and it wasn't even like a big thing. I just made like I want to say like 120 shirts.
So how much you wanted to invest in your business?
No, it wasn't an invest. She was like, I like what you're doing. She
In
like
that
it was like she admired what the fuck I was doing, and she was like,
Yeah, her
like, yo,
vagina, dude.
I want to do this for you.
So this is before you fucked.
No, this was after. I
Oh,
fucked.
okay.
I had already fucked.
Wait, you can't jump ahead in the story. We're getting to the fucking. Okay, so her last day, she comes up to you. She
Okay.
says, "I'm leaving tomorrow," and you guys talked a little bit. And you said, "Let's go to this place in Ontario, this little
It's
bar
the whole
or something over there."
demographic of the story just changed, but it was you were getting paid for sex, or you were getting paid.
No,
to
I
help
don't
you
think
out
I was
with
getting
the
paid for
business.
anything. I think she just wanted to do it for me. Like here, I
Well,
like
the
what
whole
you're doing.
premise to the story was that
But
one
it's
time when you got paid.
prostitution.
Well, that's why we had to break it down.
Well,
Steph. That's
honestly,
what,
if you meet a chick, you don't know shit about her. You
Mm.
fuck her one time,
Uh-huh.
and then she gives you $250. What's your first thought?
You got paid for sex.
I don't know.
No, not paid
I
for
would've-
sex. You got paid.
I
because
would
it
feel
wasn't
like I'm
background. I
Thor.
thought that
I'm
was
like,
good.
God damn it! I put that shit down. $250
That's the first thing I'm thinking. Like, if my dick was whack, she probably would have thought, like,
It
yeah,
goes
I'm
bigger than that.
cool.
I would
I'ma
feel
go
like she was
ahead.
paying in the vision that I just sold to her. Not even not sold, but the vision that I just spoke up on her. The fact that you were so adamant about what you were doing at the time being
gave
didn't
it
have
to
any.
her.
Who said
she
I
was
was
already
adamant?
cool with the fucking.
Who said I was adamant?
You was talking to this fucking broad at the fucking TSA about T-shirts that you was popping off on a regular basis.
She just appreciated the hustle. I didn't have to go in depth.
hold on, hey,
That's
Nate,
what
can
I'm
you
saying.
put that-
Wanted to show
It was
her
about the hustle. It
appreciation
wasn't
with
about the
money.
dick. It was about
You
the
think
hustle.
it-
Hold on, Nate. Put up that comment that says that apparently no, there's no comments. We have no comments. We can't put them up on the screen. Well, okay, then fuck you guys then.
I
Okay,
think
all right.
it's part. It's it's the whole thing. That she
But
gave him
somebody
money
in the
for.
comments was saying that you definitely hooked up with Large Marge.
I fucked Large Marge once or twice.
So anyway,
I fucked some bitch
hold
with
on.
Big Devil in my day.
So you go to a bar afterwards, and it's the night before she leaves. You guys go back to her hotel room. You fucking lay it down, and you've got the two.
And she's
Why did she give you $250?
Oh, because it's like the whole experience. She had a nice time with him. She got to know him as
Thank
a
you.
person. She was
It's
able
over
to
in
be
no time. It's
generous.
Like if you wanted
The
something,
dick
here
was
it is.
good. She liked his hustle. It was because of all of that.
Okay,
that
while
she
you're
gave
on your
him the money.
pedestal talking about
Thank
that,
you,
and
Ann.
how many
Ann
times
knows
have
how
you?
to fucking speak?
Hold on.
Saying?
That because I
Yeah,
understand
listen
that
to this woman.
situation. Because it's not just for one thing.
It ain't
She
just one-
appreciated
No,
him as a person,
I-
and she could afford to be
I
generous. so she
hear
did.
what you're saying, but how many times have you tipped a guy after he gave you dick?
If I could afford to be generous in a certain situation, and I appreciate, if I was in the
Hey, I like
other,
how she's
if
being
it was the
fucking honest.
other way around, and I was the one who had money,
would
or I
tip for dick.
could,
We're talking dick or two.
and I appreciated somebody, and I was like, hey, I can help you out.
In that
If the
case, I'm
situation were
owed like
reversed,
taxes.
yeah, you're not
Somebody
understanding the
owes me some
situation
shit.
and how where she's at in her life and where she saw all of the goodness surrounding him in the situation.
You would tip for
and
dick.
that's why you're not understanding it. You're dumbing it down.
Well,
You really are.
We're making it basic for our basic.
Yeah, but you
Basic-
can't. But
basic
because it's a
table here.
complicated situation. It's all of these things. You can't
So
just
not
make
just
it.
the dick. That was the point that I was making.
Yeah, it's not.
It was
just the
about
dick.
more than the dick.
But I
yes,
feel
it's
like
about the
personally-
whole thing.
I
That
feel
was for the
personally,
dick.
Yeah.
if there was anything off between us, that shit would have never
Now, I
happened.
have a question.
If you would have never
Right.
told the
She was
story,
feeling the whole.
if you would have never
You know what I
told the
mean?
story about
Yeah.
the shirts and all the shit that you were trying to do, would she still have paid for it?
I think
I was
personally,
just gonna
I think
say-
I think personally,
If-
just because of our vibe, it was like one of those things. She had the money. She had the money, so it was like, yo, like here you
for
go.
no
Like,
reason.
I want to
This
do
sounds
this
like
for
an
you.
episode of Sex and the
I
City, is
understand
what I'm
that.
saying.
Hey,
Like
can
a-
you put up
How
AJ?
does a female understand this, but not another
I
man?
get
That
it.
sounds like some
I
hater
get
shit.
it, because
No,
I
not
get
at
it.
all.
It sounds like sugar
I'm trying to
daddies me.
figure it out.
Hold on. Can you put up AJ Noland's Instagram? So for any horny insult women that are watching right now, you can hit up AJ Noland at Noland World Comedy for $250. For $250, you can fuck his brains out.
He just told that he was doing it on the clock.
No, he said.
So,
Hold on, put that back up. Don't take it down.
He
Don't
was
take it down.
flirting on the clock.
I
He
know
was
that there's
flirting on
plenty
the
of
clock.
females that watch
I
this
knew that
show.
motherfucker wasn't on break.
I know there's plenty of females that watch this show that are willing to pay $250 to fuck AJ Noland, and that's Instagram at Noland World Comedy on Instagram. Miss, why is your dog going crazy?
He wants to be part of the show.
So
Yeah, well,
AJ,
okay.
I think you should just cut all that other T-shirt shit out of the story and just say that you got paid for.
I mean, I'm not
for
gonna
good-
fucking
for
lie.
good-
I'm
no,
gonna give you the whole story.
Oh, I appreciate
She
it.
enjoyed the entire thing about me.
But I
I
think
like
you should,
your hustle, I
I'm
like
just-
your dick, and I like you.
I think you
I'm
should
just
just
saying there's a
Bang.
business. There's a business in it, and
What's
maybe you should expand that a little bit more to a higher level.
You think I should be a gigolo,
I
brother?
think maybe you might. Yeah, I'm saying maybe you
Hey,
missing
I
your
watch-
calling.
Man, I got a little more than that.
And I
You might
watched
be
Gigolo
missing your
porn with her
calling.
dad.
You can't have more
I
than
still
a
have.
comedian.
I want to talk to her
Did
pops.
you guys ask him if he's even single?
Hey, AJ, are you single?
Yeah, I'm single. Then a motherfucker like this man right here.
Yeah.
I was
There it
just
is.
hoping
We're
like
two single
we weren't
brothers.
having this
Yeah.
whole conversation.
Oh,
Hey,
I
as
honestly,
a
hey, I'm gonna
girl.
tell you like this. I'm the type of dude like if I wasn't single, I wouldn't even talk about that shit.
I think I see a dating show in
You know
the
what I
near
mean?
future.
I
It's
wouldn't
a
even
smart
brought that
move
shit up.
because that means you have
Okay,
somebody at
okay.
home that was listening.
Yeah.
I mean, hell yeah. Like, I mean, if you're a good
I just
dude,
wanted
you
to
will
make
communicate with your significant other. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Makes
I don't
sense.
believe you.
I just
Lies.
wanted to make sure.
All right, so
What kind of
AJ,
Virgo is you, nigga?
I just, it's just one of those deals where it's just like
We are
it's like,
talkative people. What's going on?
hold on.
You got secrets. Not secrets,
AJ,
but
how long have you been doing comedy?
honestly,
Well,
Yeah.
no, lie to me. I don't care. I'm not going to give you
honestly,
$250.
hey, you gotta
We
lie
have
on com-
our- we
applications
have our
sometimes.
like if there's like a
Instagram.
producer or somebody, you have that.
Oh,
But then
okay.
you have
Yeah.
like the actual. It's like models who have their measurements
Yeah,
for the people, and then they have their actual.
Like they don't pay
measurements. Like,
attention
you
to your
know, like,
talent. It's like how
you
much
know,
time you got,
yeah.
and it's like really, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You just watch
Well,
my
how
video.
long have
and
you
thought I
been?
was
How
dope.
long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy for a year and a half.
And what got you into it?
Honestly,
Yeah, honestly.
what got me into it is just I've always been a class clown, like a fool. Like,
Oh.
and with the honestly, I was going through some weird shit, and I was watching. I told the story just recently to somebody. It was crazy. December 23rd of 2017, I was in my room and I was watching YouTube, and for some odd reason, it drew me to fucking comedy. So I started watching like my favorite comedians, Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. And then it started going to like a domino effect of everybody that I like. Eddie Griffin, Mark Curry. You guys probably forget about that guy.
Any
Mr.
white
Cooper.
comedians,
I
or are
remember
you
Mark
just strictly
Curry.
black?
Dane Cook is fucking dope. Dane Cook,
No,
George
he's not.
Carlin.
No, George
Are you
Carlin
serious
is.
right now? Dane
Dane
Cook.
Cook. I'm not a fan.
Dane Cook's a fucking realist.
Steph, did you not heckle Dane Cook at a show?
I did.
We ain't talking
And
about
they
Carlos
almost-
Mencia now.
No,
We
they
talking
almost
about-
Was
kicked
that
me
to
out
be
of a
part
show.
to be a part of the
Yeah.
show, or you had
No.
purpose to heckle?
I'm
No,
talking
I
about
didn't have
before he
any
started
interest
doing
at
that
all.
bullshit. When Dane first
I
came
hate
out,
that.
he was a realist, and I feel
I
like
hate you as
he
a
went away
person.
from that comedy
Yeah,
because he
came
got
back to the show.
he wasn't
And I
creative
told them about
anymore,
the
so he
shit.
started
They
stealing.
wanted- They wanted to kick me out.
All right. So
Well,
about a year and a half ago. Now,
that happens.
where did you first perform at?
My
got my
first
money back. That's
performance
how bad
was
it
at
was.
Rock Hills Jazz Lounge in Rialto, California.
Rialto, California. And how did you? How many minutes did you prep for that show?
I did 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Starting off
my
with 10
very
minutes.
first show. And but let me give you the ideology of how I think. I don't think about that shit. I think about what are you gonna fucking say? And if you can give yourself a rhythm and know how to bounce to it, you're gonna go with that shit the whole time.
And is there any material from that first 10 minutes that you did a year and a half or whatever it was ago? Is there any material that you still use from that set?
No,
No.
I don't.
How did you do that first night?
Honestly, I did good. I got like I got a few videos, but anyways, it was people fucking laughing their ass off. A lot of people were surprised that was my first
That's a
time.
good thing.
A lot of people was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like,
Kind of the-
"Yeah, like honestly, this is my first time." So it felt good. So it gave me that that initiative, just like, all right, let's just keep doing this shit. Then my next show was with Ann. That's how I met Ann at what was that pizza guy? Yeah, Pizza Fan, Pizza Guys or something. Oh yeah, and then that one. Oh, she fucking played right now. That shit went way over my motherfucking head.
I didn't get that joke. Must have been an inside joke.
Yeah, man. No, I just kept attacking it like
That
that,
same
man. It was like
energy.
every show that I did, it was like I was getting like good
But
feedback.
how nervous were you that first time going in front of an audience and laying down some comedy?
Like I said, man, I've been an athlete all my life. I've been a class clown all my life. So I've kind of been that guy where it's like, yeah, spotlight's kind of been on me. Like I've always been that guy, like, you know this. That fool. You know what I mean? So it was like I wasn't really nervous. I think the main thing that I was focusing on was how am I gonna say this shit? I don't want to stutter.
Oh,
So my entire thought process was don't fucking stutter. Because if you stutter, you're gonna fucking fail. You're done. And that was what I was worried about. But when people started laughing, it just became natural. And liquor helped. So I ain't gonna lie.
Of course. Now,
Liquor
and
helped like a
and
motherfucker.
Hi.
how long have you been doing comedy?
I don't know. I keep saying 5 years, but I feel like that's a lie.
I want to say 5.
I
I've
want-
known you for 5.
Yeah,
Well, how old are you?
then
You
it's
look like
5 then.
you look
I
like
don't
you're
know.
23 or something like that.
I'm 29 years old.
You're 29.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've been doing it for about 5 years. Now,
Yeah,
how did you get
so-
started in doing comedy?
I was writing jokes and like telling people like my jokes that I've written at bars for like 2 years.
Do you remember the first joke that you ever wrote?
before. No, but some of the stuff that I wrote within my first like couple months of comedy, I still use.
Like what? What's a joke that you use?
Where I say like my like I only have 1 minute left with you guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and take off because I don't know how long 1 minute is. I used to, but I broke up with that guy real fast.
All right. all
I'm
right.
sorry.
It was a really cool situation. I had been doing open mics for like a month, and then I got my first book show, and then after that, it was just and then I was on stage for like the first 2 years, like 5 or 6 nights a week. Like I loved it.
Nice.
Now not so much, not so much anymore. But I feel like I have more quality shows lately. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
All
I like
right.
it. I like it.
And what about you? I mean, do you still get nervous before a show? What?
Sometimes, but not so much. Like before, like I would have to have like a drink and a half. But now I can go on stage totally sober and I'm just like cruising. I actually prefer it sometimes because I know I drink too much, and sometimes I have like a sober break where like I go a few weeks and then I feel really clear.
Do you
on
think you're better
stage.
when you're sober?
I'm definitely clearer. I definitely, my mind is like working
It's
right.
hard. It's harder to be sharper when you're drunk.
Yeah, you're not sharp
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're even just buzzed. But I would do this thing before. I was just like doing like all these shows, right? I was doing all these spots. So I would get like really faded sometimes before shows, just like chilling with people. And then so I'd like drink and smoke weed and then just like do a little bit of coke to just like pull me out of it. And so it was just kind of like
She said a little bit.
I love it.
on the
It was
little
just
bit,
kind of
yeah.
like it was just like experimenting with how I would be.
Some people drink Red Bull. You know
on
what I mean? Like
stage
I'm
and,
just
like,
saying.
all these
Red Bull's
different-
just as bad.
Yeah.
Monsters.
I was just kind of experimenting with it, and then I tried sobriety after that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is really different and cool too." So I
I'm not there
don't
yet.
know. I
I'm
try.
still
Yeah, I
drinking
just
like a
try
motherfucker.
different things. I like to do different things when I go on. So
Well, what's the end game for you? Like, what's something that you envision like that? What is the goal? Like, if I
I-
could perform here or if I could perform
Well,
with somebody, like,
one
what
of my
is your
goals right now? Like, I would really love to get on like a sitcom because I love acting so much too. So I would
can
love
see
to
that.
be on like a sitcom because I improv, and so I'd like be able to just like have fun with that. That's like one of my
and I could
goals
actually
right
see that.
now.
I've seen
Yeah.
your comedy show. I've seen you on stage. I could totally see you on a sitcom.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be really fun.
Yeah,
so
like,
that's the goal right now.
Anne and the guy that fucks chicks at the truck stop.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah,
fuck is
that's an
that?
HBO show. That's an HBO show.
After dark,
that's-
of course.
That's that
Yeah.
midnight.
That's a
The
good
kids
story to
can't watch
hear.
that.
Mhm.
I love it.
Now, Romarick,
Yes.
how long you been doing comedy?
This will be honestly my 10th year.
10 years.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Give
10
him that
years.
whopper.
Hell yeah!
You got some hand claps on there?
But
Do that shit.
yeah,
Y'all don't understand how hard this shit is, man.
It's
To
very
keep
hard.
that motivation.
Yeah.
And like
So
we're,
hard.
none of
That's
us got $100,000 in our fucking
It is
pockets right
so
now.
hard.
We know. We've been doing this too.
Exactly. So y'all know that is
And we
motivation.
don't get paid.
Motivation.
We
Y'all
do this
confident.
every fucking
It's the
Tuesday.
best
Hold on.
analogy I heard all night.
Do you guys have sponsors?
What? No, we do
I
this shit.
respect that. Yeah.
Maybe if we paid attention to our emails, but
Ah.
we don't do that either. So Romarick, so you've been doing this for 10 years, man.
yeah.
And you know, I was going through your like profile and stuff as I was stalking everybody. Once I got past Anne's
That's
ass
cool. You can
pictures
stalk
and
me.
downtown Red
I'll
Wings.
allow you. I won't change my security settings.
Yeah, but you know, I've seen you've been at the Improvs, you've been at the Ice
Yeah.
House, you've been at all that stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, first off, how did you get into comedy?
I kind of fell into it. I was doing radio before that.
And you do radio now, right?
There you go.
I do radio now, but I do work more on the promotion and marketing side of it. But when I was working radio then, I was actually on air in the morning show.
Oh.
And that was
That's
with
dope.
Jeff Garcia. If you guys
cool.
don't know Jeff, he was the
He's
the
dope.
voice of
Funny,
Jimmy
yeah.
Neutron.
Jeff Garcia, shout out.
Hold
to
on,
him.
say that again. He's the voice of Jimmy Neutron.
He's
Sheen.
like his friend,
Sheen.
yeah.
Sheen.
He was voice of Sheen,
Okay.
and then I believe Pip the Mouse too. So when I was working radio, they had fired their morning show, and they let me board op the morning show. So basically, I was just running music, and they called me in the office one day and was like, "Hey, this is Jeff Garcia. You guys start Monday with the morning show." I was like, "Oh, word!"
Wow.
So that was the first time I ever really met a real comedian like in my life. So while we were doing the radio morning show, he would have shows like the weekend. So it'd be like Brea, Irvine,
Comedy shows.
right?
Yeah.
So that's where I really got turned on inside of a comedy club. Before that, I never really even thought to. My comedy was more from the outside, or an average spectator. But I never really been to a club until I actually started working with him. And then so they fired us, and I was unemployed. I worked at the Improv. Well, no. I worked at the radio station for 5 years,
Okay.
but 2 of those years was on air. So
Now
That's dope.
that is like
That's
like a
awesome.
huge step to go from a guy board hopping, engineering
right,
the show,
it is.
to an on-air talent.
It is. And that's unheard of, to be honest with you.
And I fantasize about that kind of stuff.
A lot of people
aside
do, to
from
be
my father-in-law and the gay porn, but
yeah, a lot of
you
people do.
fantasize
That's a major skip in that type of industry.
yeah,
for
no
real.
kidding. To go
That-
from
yeah.
engineer to on-air.
Well, I actually
personality?
started, to be honest with you, insult to injury, I started Street Team. And then
Okay, promotions.
I started Street Team,
Are
and
you
then I
sure?
went into commercial entry.
Wow.
They allowed me to, they were training me in programming. So I just know how to work.
But
So,
how
you know
was
what I mean?
that?
Like-
How was
Yeah.
that going?
Virgo
How was
shit.
that going on the air? I mean, that first day before you
You
went on
know,
the
it
air.
was very surreal, to be honest with you. I have it recorded on cassette. Like, that's how long ago it
And
was.
when you listen back to it, how is it?
It was probably whack, you know what I mean? But it was my first time on air. Like, to be honest with you,
But you were-
I was on air. Like,
you
I don't-
were pretty much the sidekick because the other
Yeah,
guy was
yeah,
the
for
main
sure.
host, and you
Yeah.
were like the secondary sidekick,
Right.
the bounce off guy.
yeah.
Wow, that's interesting, man. People don't just get thrown into that kind
Not
of
at all.
stuff.
Not at all. And we did that, and honestly, like when it came to the numbers too, and if you know anything about the numbers, like we did really well. Like KGGI is one of-
99.1.
Yeah, right. So that was
Okay.
our competition at the time. And they pretty much own the Inland Empire. Let's just be real. They have a big reach out here. So we were competing with those guys at such a
And what station was
independent
that you were on at that
level.
time?
That was Wild 96. That was 96.1. So Wild
96.1.
96.1. Yeah, that was back when it was hip hop and R&B.
And that's out of Redlands or something?
No,
like
that was the San Bernardino.
San Bernardino.
Yeah.
The Dookie.
All right. That's
so
crazy.
yeah. So I was fired, unemployed, and Jeff kind of called the Improv in Ontario and got me a job there.
And what were you doing over there?
I was-
Engineering?
Cool.
Yeah, I was doing the engineering there. So
Okay.
I kind of just, that's how I got into comedy. Just watching. To be honest with you, they had me doing the Tuesday, Wednesday shows, which are the
Yeah.
amateur shows, these shows that you guys show up to and stuff like
Hey,
that.
I have a show
So-
there tomorrow.
Well, honestly, and that's what those are. Those shows are
Come to my
to
show, you guys.
those
Okay,
shows are to get
No.
your grit up. Those are not weekend shows where it's like, yo, I paid $20 to come see somebody. It's not a good show. These Tuesday, Wednesday shows are designed for that, just so that if
Yeah.
you're not somebody that has a great following, but great content, you know what I mean? This is the way you build up to your branding
but-
of yourself.
Okay.
So
Kick that
Yeah.
door down.
Yeah, I'm there tomorrow night with Vince Royale.
Oh, you're where at tomorrow
There's
night?
a product
Ontario
placement.
Improv.
Ontario Improv.
Please come to my show.
Hey.
Hey,
It'd be great.
hey, give me some comp tickets. Hey, we'll all roll
Oh,
out if we
yeah.
get some
Oh,
comp
yeah.
tickets. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't they? Hey, let me ask you this:
Every comedy
Is it
show's a fucking
support?
comp
Is it
ticket.
support if you always go into a comp show?
Hell no.
Is
No.
it support?
Hell no.
I'd have to. That's the question.
But
I
I'll
would
drink
like to
I'll
pose.
drink like a motherfucker while I'm there.
Yeah, but the comics don't
I'm-
see any
I'm
of that.
curious.
You,
You
know?
only see the
Yeah, but that money doesn't
but
go to the
yeah, that's
comics.
what I mean.
That money doesn't go to the
Customers At our
comics.
show. So I'm curious. I want to ask y'all this.
Go ahead.
If we had t-shirts, would y'all have bottom?
No.
Yeah. Hey, no, I respect the honesty. I truly respect it.
Hold on. I'll tell you what.
I call bullshit because I'm pretty sure that every band that
What kind of merch would I buy? I would probably. Okay, what kind of merch would I buy from a comic?
People have like shot
Okay.
glasses.
I'm about to
People
have
have
some
like
merch coming
That's a good
out.
question. I would like to hear that
right?
answer.
People
That's
have
all.
buttons. People have
If
t-shirts.
Ann had
What
a
would
funny T-shirt with her bent over telling guys to do Kegels in the audience, I would probably buy that.
you? Oh, okay. Then I'll make some t-shirts.
The Kegel shirt.
I'll do it.
Okay, but I heard that squeak. Was that a Kegel? What's going on back there? Okay, anyways, so Romarick, so you're working at a comedy club.
Yeah.
And you're doing the Tuesday Wednesday
Yeah.
show, and
Actually, that was when the Dirty Show was starting out.
At
Like, just
Ontario,
starting
at Ontario
the
Improv.
Improv.
and
yeah.
then how did you start writing your own? Like, what did you do to prep for your
You know
first
what
5
it was
minutes?
is I got to see a lot of people don't get this. A lot of people get to come in from the outside of the walls. Like, you know what I mean? So you don't know what to expect. You can only imagine what you hear. Everything was hearsay. So for me, I got to see a lot of people do good. I got to see a lot of people do bad. I got
Yeah.
to see a lot of people do so.
Right.
I got to see a lot of things that a lot of people didn't get to see. So while I'm watching
You
this,
got the science to it.
I just felt, and you know, some people call it the itch or whatever. I felt it, and one of the managers there I was talking to, I was like, I think I could do this, and he was like, he left for like 5 minutes, came back, and he had just taken the comedy class at the Improv, and he had this book, and it was just like a workshop book. And it's basically everything you would need to know for just starting out techniques to comedy. He said, read this, do the workshops and everything. And he said, you should be on your way. And from there, I just kind of fell
you got a
into a
manual,
show. What's that?
I've read some.
Oh, there's,
Man, I ain't getting no
but you
fucking
know,
manual.
It's a
I've
light
read
skin
some
thing,
books.
but
baby.
the
It's
manual,
no
the manual only
Yeah.
works. The manual only works if you know what you work in. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you like a manual to you wouldn't mean what it meant to me. I got to see and like apply what the manual meant.
You got the rawness though.
Yeah, that's
You got
for
the
sure.
rawness.
That's for
Like
sure.
the experience that you got was different. Mine was from YouTube.
And you know, and that was just it.
You know
I
what
kind
I'm
of
saying?
fell in, like just like radio. I just kind of lucked out, like kind of hitting that, like, and I learned. And you know, I was hanging out with Jeff and a lot of the other comics when I was there. You know, so it's just kind of like I got to learn a lot of the behind the scenes before I even attempted to. Like I kind of already knew the business.
Yeah,
you already
it's
knew
really
the
cool.
scene.
Yeah,
I
knew
kind of already knew the
That's tight.
business before I even
Yeah.
wanted thinking about even joining the business.
Let me
So,
ask you a question. You've been around for 10 years. You've been
Yeah.
doing this. Who's the most overrated comic out there?
I don't know. That's hard to say, man.
That's hard as
Or
fuck
will
to say.
you
Because
say?
I mean, now if you're talking now, you're
Money
talking then.
talks.
Because if you're talking like social media wise, I mean, there's so many
I'm not
dynamics
talking
to the
about.
situation.
I'm talking about
like,
the guy's material. Like, what was it?
Are you talking about new guys or old
I'm
guys?
talking about any guy, the most overrated comic out there.
I don't know.
That's
I don't
hard to
think there's.
say.
I think there's a. For me, I don't see
He
it
said,
as
"What's her
overrated.
name?"
I can't see it as overrated. I feel like everybody has their pocket, and they just
Gabriel
gotta find it.
It
Iglesias.
depends on what's your quality.
they gotta
of
find
comic.
it.
I think it's
I
your
think
stay in
that-
your lane kind
You
of
could
thing.
never
Like,
say
you're
Gabriel's
out there,
overrated if he's
right.
selling out amphitheaters and
That's
got a
true.
TV show. I mean,
Right.
how is that
I feel like
overrated?
about
Right.
Kevin Hart.
That can't be
Hold
overrated.
on. Steph had the balls to say something. You said you think Kevin Hart is
It's not funny
overrated.
to me.
A lot
He's
of
not
people are
funny.
saying that though.
He's just
But
not
people-
funny.
But people got to understand though. Kevin Hart's pedestal.
Everyone has
People
a
don't-
different sense of humor.
Right. Right.
You know, it's
You
funny,
know?
but
just
and
that-
that's fair. That's valid.
I think
Who-
Kevin
who's
Hart
more
is rich enough to
famous than
not
Kevin Hart?
give a
He
shit
doesn't
what
give a
we
fuck,
think.
yeah.
He don't
Like, you
care
know what I
about
mean?
me.
Like
I
this ain't.
understand. No, I get it. Believe me, 100%. I just think to me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
that's,
not
yeah,
that
that's
funny.
your
I get it.
opinion. Yeah, that's
it's
your
not
opinion.
that funny.
I feel
Yeah.
like he's done too much.
And I
He's
think
done too much. Like too many.
I think he's
hit back to
overboard.
back to back. He
Over
should have
the
like
top,
he
like,
should
you know.
he spread himself too thick in a small time.
here's the other thing too. I think when comedians start apologizing for shit, you kind of lose me. It doesn't matter what you said 10 years ago. Just
You gotta see what he was doing that for.
Well,
I
okay,
get
but
it. You know, you're doing it for that
paychecks.
paycheck.
But in that
and I get it.
dynamic,
Yeah.
those are different circumstances. Now he's in a different realm where he's dealing with like people that hold contracts. You know
he's
what I'm
the
saying? He's
highest
dealing with.
comedian paid right now.
There's
Him and
certain
Seinfeld.
like I don't care when anybody says, "Oh, I would." You know, really, when they waving a couple of this, and you know what I mean. I mean, he worked to get to where he's at.
Yeah, he
So
been in the game
I
for a
would
minute.
for that to like tarnish his like that was part of the scars. Like that, those tweets, those are part of his scars. You know what I mean? To bring that back, like, no, we already talked about this. This is why
Yeah.
I'm here. So I just
I
for
believe
me,
that was
it's like
purposely done.
But here's my thing: how does Chappelle get away with it? Still,
he?
to, like,
Because
still
he
to
doesn't
this.
give a
Did he?
fuck. That's the
He
problem.
does
He's
now.
not an ass kisser. He's already proved his
love
point by
it.
saying, I could walk away from 50 million. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
So letting the world know I can do that, that's like, oh, I'm hungry for his ass because he knows.
He
what
also
he's
really
about.
wasn't working like as far as movies. Like I don't know, like you didn't hear from him for a while.
For a while.
Media
Well, that
wise.
was on his own accord. I mean, he
Exactly.
took off and he
That's
ducked
dope.
out.
But he has this really great way of talking about something and having like the depth to it, and then also here's some silly shit.
Exactly.
Like, and it's really cool to watch because it's so smart and
It's
you know,
precise.
It's creative.
Yes.
It's
So
pretty. It's
and,
precise.
and let me ask you this because and I'll come back to it. But even though you got your hangover glasses on, who are some of the most
She's the
influential?
dude.
Who are some of the most influential comedians that you look up to?
for me.
For you, yes.
I'm
it's just
curious
funny
too
because,
now. I like
because
that.
always the first thing that comes to mind is Louis C.K., but then there's the whole fucking drama that I don't want to get into. But I think he is so fucking funny, and I think that his writing's so smart. I think 2017, his Netflix special is just one of the most beautiful hours of comedy out
I
there.
gotta check that out.
And of course
But-
Dave Chappelle. Louis C.K. has a ton of specials. He's just like so great. But
Who's at the top of the charts as far as female comedians right now?
female, I really like Ali Wong is really great. I like Sarah Silverman. I do
Smart
someone
chick, smart chick.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really like her. I am not a fan of Amy Schumer or Eliza Schlesinger.
Yeah, I ain't a fan of her.
I'm not a
either.
fan, but the thing of it is, like, just because I don't appreciate their comedy, like, I can respect that grind because they're fucking, handling. Like, yeah, I'm into that.
But now
Yeah.
going back to Louis C.K., you talk about that, and obviously he got in trouble. He kind of got in some trouble there. But has he paid his penance?
I think he lost a lot.
I
I
mean,
think
but
he
what
did.
penance? Well, okay, so listen, one thing has nothing to
I
do
don't
with the
know
other
nothing
thing.
about this motherfucker. Who
One
y'all
thing
talking about?
has to do with jerking off, and he does
He
comedy.
I'ma check
Like,
him
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's still funny even after the
He's still
situation. He can still
funny.
write some jokes. Like, you
Now,
know,
hold
like,
on.
But a lot of people believe that, like, if you're, if you do that kind of sexual, like, deviant act or whatever, if you like create that kind of crime, then you shouldn't be able to be working. That's the thing. That's
well,
why
it's
you're
not
saying it
just
doesn't.
comedians that get dirty. So,
Maybe he
like, you know
should've
what I mean?
went
Like,
on SugarDaddy.com.
Good
No,
question.
but like that's the point. But I love. Okay, I'm just gonna say I love what Chappelle said in one of his last Netflix specials that the woman who said she had to quit comedy because of how Louis C.K. treated her.
What do you mean
how-
she had to
And
quit?
Chappelle was like, "You have a weak ass backbone," and I agree with that. I'm sorry. And
I
don't
agree
know
with
who
that
this woman
too.
is. I don't know her story. I don't know how. It must have been incredibly difficult for her. But the way I see it, I have gone through tons of bullshit in comedy. But
Right.
there's not going to be ever one person
you know,
that's going to make
I
you
will
quit
agree
something.
too that women
like
have
that.
Yeah, women
really
go through the
So-
most, man.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Really,
and
really rough.
and like, what kind of bullshit have you been through in comedy? Have you ever been sexually harassed in comedy from like a sleazy club manager?
that like comes
Or
with
another
the
comedian.
that comes with the membership. I
Unless you
think.
clean it up, then you don't have a hard
You
It
have to at least be
comes
groped
with
10 times
it.
before you even consider.
I
to be,
had been booked on a show. I was booked on a show with this guy, and he asked me to send him some pictures, and I was like, nah. And then I went to like confirm with him. He was like, oh well, actually the venue said that I need to be working with new talent and but we hadn't worked together in like a year, so it was like that was a bullshit excuse. You know what I mean? Like the reason he dropped me from his shows because I didn't send him pictures. But it's like it's just something. But I'm like, I'm not gonna be worried about. I'm like my career. I'm on my grind, so I'm like,
Better off,
fuck
I
that
would
guy. You know what I
assume.
mean?
Yeah,
I don't
for
give a
sure.
fuck. Like
Right.
it's not a make or break thing.
Right.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's so shitty out there that I'm not gonna do what
Where's
I
he
love
at now?
anymore.
Yeah, where is that dude at?
Well,
Yeah.
well, do you think it's I mean, because you have a sexually charged show, but do you think that gives like promoters and etc. like they think that just because you do like a sexually promiscuous
I think guys
show,
who are like that are gonna be like that no matter what.
no matter what, do you think
Even
it's
if
harder for a
I-
female comedian?
I do.
Yeah.
I think
yes and no. Yes and no, because here's the thing is that people will be like, haters will be like, oh, you only got that show because that guy wants to fuck you. And I'll be like, I don't give a fuck why I got the show.
Right.
If I'm on the show, that's great
Right.
for me. And then I'm gonna go on stage and I'm gonna crush it.
Right.
Like, so you know what I mean? So that there's haters out there, but like I don't care. So sometimes I do get spots just because somebody wants to hang out with me. But I don't worry about that.
Right.
So, sometimes I do, it's a good thing, but sometimes it's not.
Right.
Mm.
But
Now, how do you each deal with hecklers? Because obviously, there's always that one asshole at every show.
My uncle was heckling me at that
show that I was at.
That was my fucking uncle, and I was like, dude, what? And then his fiance was like apologizing about him after, and I was like, oh, it's okay, because I had like drawn attention to him, like, oh, my uncle's here, but I was trying to be like, he's here and clap it, but then like move on, and he just like kept trying to talk to me, and I was just like, oh, like, stop, like, and then I had to go into some different jokes, and then it was like, so it kind of threw me off, but then I just, you just keep going with it. As far as like other like random people, like I was at a show last night and this woman was shouting out and it was like her birthday, and I was like, oh, it's my birthday and I'll interrupt if I want to, and then the crowd was like that song, and then she like understood like to stop. So, but I think each heckler is different, you have to, they're all different, and you have to shut them down in the right way so that the crowd understands and they understand.
AJ, how do you shut down a heckler?
It depends on who they are, man.
Do you ever light them up?
Yeah, hell yeah, I've lit up some comedy. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they say. Like, if somebody's like getting offended, I'm that guy. It depends on how. Like, this is gonna be weird as fuck to y'all, and I can't believe I'm about to say this shit.
Not weirder than fucking some chick at a truck stop.
Go ahead and say, my man.
No,
look. You got something better
No,
than that?
the reason I'm just gonna give you my
You got something better
I'm
than
just
that?
gonna give you my thought process on how I weigh things.
Let's go.
I was a cop for 3.5 years. Okay.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's the funniest shit he said all night. Okay.
Hey, y'all motherfuckers is laughing, but hey, I was for 3.5 years. So I profile people. Like, if you come at me aggressive, I'm gonna treat you that way.
Was this
So you're saying all cops do profile? I like that statement he just said. I was a cop, so I profile people.
Right. Yeah,
Okay,
I
go ahead.
do. Because it depends. Like, if you come at me like crazy and shit, then I'm gonna check you. But if you come at me cool, then I'm gonna be cool with you. I respect what the flow of what the conversation is.
Okay.
And that's just how I am with the crowd. I adjust to the crowd. You know what I mean? And that's how I look at things. So yeah, if a heckler is being rude and just being stupid, I'm getting on your fucking head. I don't give a damn who you are. If you're an old lady, old man, I'm getting on your head. You being rude. But if you just saying some shit like, oh, that was kind of offensive, I'll try to back it up with another joke and twist it to something else so I can make you laugh.
Yeah.
Romarick,
Yes, sir.
how do you deal with hecklers?
It depends, man. Because sometimes if like I don't know, it's just like if they're drunk, you got to meet them at their drunk. So you just got to say something funny that their drunk is going to hear.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody's drunk, you say something funny and they right back on the track. You just got to reset the track like Thomas the Train. I don't know. It depends. Like I've had situations where people were being malicious, but I just flip it. Like you flip it on them. For me, I flip it on them.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna make me be this guy. So like this is you. This is what you asked for. I don't know. It's on the menu.
Yeah.
Like this
Press
is what you
that
asked
button,
for.
motherfucker.
But it just depends. I don't really like being mean to people. As a kid, I was always bullied and shit. I don't want to make that like a little PSA, but I just don't believe in being mean to people. But I believe in being stern. Like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like for real. Like you can say that without
And
being
there's
mean.
levels
to
that
You can say that without being mean.
Yeah.
A lot of
there's
times I'll be
levels
like,
to it.
okay, well, we'll talk about that after the show.
Right.
So then they know,
Right.
because
There's a
they want to
way.
talk to you. Because a lot of hecklers, they're not trying to be mean, but they just want to add
They
to
have
it.
it.
Right.
You
But then
gotta
it
imagine
gets
from where they're
close, so
coming
you
from
have to-
too. They just
yeah.
dropped the kids off. They probably been working 80 hours.
Yeah. They
You know what
want
I'm saying? This is finally
attention.
night out, and this is what they chose. This is what they put their money
Yeah.
into. So there's a lot that goes behind it when you go, when you think about it. Because you just, for me, I always try to think about where that person's coming from. Why is he trying to be mean?
Uh-huh.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
that
Like,
was
why
the-
is he yelling out right now instead of watching the show?
And that was the weird thing when we went to see Rappaport. He's super funny, but then it gets kind of chaotic because people start just yelling shit out.
And you saw who?
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
So people start just yelling shit out for him that they want him to do.
Yeah, he's like a political, racial-based comedian, though.
So it gets kind of chaotic, and it's like, okay, calm the fuck. All right, I'll do it because he just wants him to
I
shut
think that's
up.
how he thrives off his
I mean, but
comedy.
everybody has their own. I mean, like,
Yeah.
just like I mentioned earlier, Jeff
Just my dude,
Garcia,
that's Remy.
he's known for crowd
Yeah.
work. Like,
Remy.
like he's known for crowd work. Like some people just have the art of ripping you apart and letting you say thank you about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your mom does this with a dog. Thank you. I appreciate that shit. Like I'm gonna go home and laugh about that shit.
I did a show with him and my dad was in the crowd and he was like, "That's your daughter?"
A show with Michael Rappaport?
No, Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia.
And then he went in on my dad, and my stepmom is really young, and he's like, "Where'd you meet her at an ice cream truck?" And it was like he just laid it out on my dad. It was
Like, what
so
kind of comedy
funny.
do you prefer? Like, do you like that they go hard on people and try to make them
Who, me?
feel awkward? Yeah. Like, is that you? You like
Shit.
like
That's the question.
What is the comedy that I prefer?
What would you like?
I feel like there's different types.
Shit, man. I mean,
I can like variety, but like
There's
top,
different.
your tops.
I like going to comedy shows, and of course. But what kind of comedy do I like?
like is there one that
You
sticks
know,
out
Yeah, there is one that sticks out that I paid the most money to go and see,
and it was worth it?
and it was worth
And
it.
you walked away happy.
And I walked away happy.
Okay.
And it's a guy that none of you have talked about, but I think he does like this intellectual style of comedy, and that's Eddie Izzard.
Okay.
I don't know who the hell he
Yeah.
is.
See,
You don't know
AJ
Eddie
has no
Izzard?
idea. But Eddie Izzard, that's like
Older, huh?
I think that he's one of the comedians that I've laughed the most at, and it's the way he does that whole like Seinfeld like writing style where he ties everything together, and he's doing
Mhm.
he's the transgender he dresses in a dress and he does his comedy.
Yeah, I've never.
And he
heard
does
of
his
this.
show in like
When
7
was
different
that?
languages.
He's
When did you go to
he's from
see him?
England.
I
You know
saw him.
it.
I
You've
saw him
seen
at
him.
the.
You've seen him.
I saw him at the Kodak
You know
Theater,
this.
the Grammy Museum,
I
Kodak
guarantee you.
Theater,
I
probably
guarantee
3 years ago. But Eddie Izzard is a comedian that I think is extremely funny. I like the old Bill Cosby shit, man.
I got a
Mhm.
question. I got a
Yeah.
question for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that's sitting here right now. Why do you guys think Dave Chappelle's so successful?
Oh man, he's fucking funny.
Honestly.
man.
And he
Like,
has
give
the
it.
attitude, like he can just be like,
Work?
I'm the tit.
Because he did all the
Oh,
work.
you said work. You said
did
work.
all the work.
What do you
works-
say?
He works really hard.
What do you say?
Yeah,
My
but
man
when,
right here.
when you're
Club Hub.
Relatable.
Bam.
Yeah.
relatable's good,
Bam.
but from our side of the fence,
The shit
because
he talks
we're not in
about,
the comedy
I
industry.
can relate. No, it just he's
I
a
feel like
It
funny-
makes sense. It makes sense.
He's one comedian that can do that, though.
But I think it's relatable, and I think it's because he's unapologetic, and he just
Yes.
goes.
yeah.
He goes at
But
it,
I
and he
think
doesn't
that's
give a
what any
shit.
comic is looking
But
for.
not-
is-
but
is
not-
finding that zone where you could be unapologetic. and
You know
still
who
say
else
what
is
you
my
want.
guy like that? Bill Burr.
Yep,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
another
Bill
one.
Burr.
Yeah.
Bill Burr.
Same shit.
Exactly.
Yep.
But those comedians are looked at as like the angry comedians, like the freaking Corey Holcombs.
Makes
You know
me
what I
laugh.
mean?
I like
Same
Bill.
shit.
He's
Makes me
funny as
laugh.
hell to
Corey's
me,
hilarious.
but a lot of people think he got a lot of women haters. Like women hate his
Oh,
ass.
And then and then
believe
some
it.
of
Have you
it.
You know what I
seen
mean?
Corey
I've
Holcomb
seen
set?
some-
Yeah,
This
but
shows,
and I get it. But what I'm
That-
saying
that
is,
is-
there's
yeah.
a lot of comedians that are in that, like Patrice O'Neal. Those are like the ones that
shout
they
out, rest
label
in peace.
angry
Rest in
comedians
peace.
because of the
Yeah.
shit they talk about.
I love
You know what I
Patrice.
mean?
You know what I
He's
love
funny.
about Patrice is
Exactly.
like he would go in there and just tell it. And
Yeah,
that's
he's
it.
real.
He was just a roundabout dude to me.
I
You know
just-
what I mean?
But he
He's
was like
the
that
same
on
dude you
or
see
off
the block.
stage. He was on or off stage.
I
He was a
believe it.
really good dude.
Exactly.
And I think another guy delivery wise, but probably one of the best deliveries is Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh,
Just-
yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant delivery,
Yes.
very just kind of
So well
just very
written.
flat.
Matter of fact,
So
Just,
well
yeah,
written.
but he's very flat and very kind of but he's quick. It's so quick that
Yeah.
you almost kind of you laugh like 30 seconds after he's already dropped the punchline.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
register what he's like. Did he say?
Yeah.
He did say that. Like,
Okay.
yeah, he did.
Did he just? Yeah.
Those are sometimes like
He's
the
great.
best jokes, especially if you know what your next one's gonna be and you're trying to set that shit up.
was that the last one? Yes. Damn it.
That was some actually good stuff. I don't really
This
like
time it
IPAs,
wasn't
man.
my fault.
But this what is this? Manta Ray? Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this, AJ.
What's up?
What's the best comedy special out there right now that you say that anybody that's in the comedy they need to watch it, like Netflix, HBO, whatever? What's the funniest comedy special that's out there right now?
Fuck, man, I got two.
All right, we can
Hard
listen
for
to
me, man. I'm gonna, of course, Dave
Chappelle.
and it's because how creative he
Which
is.
one, the
And
last
one thing,
one or one
and
of
one
his-
thing that I take from this is relatable. There are
Relatable.
so many comedians, and I say this, and you guys are gonna look at me like, oh, whatever, you might be racial. There's a such thing as black comedy and white comedy.
Hold
I
on,
agree.
you
There's a
racist
such thing.
motherfucker. Hold on.
I agree 100%.
Oh, he's like, now I can do blackface. Let's go. Let's go.
We're gonna
Now I
get
can do
into this,
blackface.
'cause I got
open the
so
door.
many
This is
backups
it.
with this.
This is
I
it.
got so many backups with this. So come on, I've been prepared for this.
Oh,
Let's go.
shit. Get the cards.
Let's go.
All right. So there's black comedy and there's white comedy. What
Exactly.
is the difference between the two?
Okay, you got Def Comedy Jam where you got a specific crowd where the crowd is basically more black and Latino based, where there's probably very few whites, and then you got your MTV where you got your Dane Cooks, you got your George Carlins, you got your Robin Williams, and all them.
I don't know. George Carlin was pretty fucking funny.
No, but look, but what I'm saying is his dominant crowd is who he relates to. And what I'm saying is there's a lot of comedians that can't do both. And Dave Chappelle, the reason why he's great is because he's relatable to both. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of comedians that can't go both ways.
Dave Chappelle is great.
They can't go both ways.
I hope he's watching this
John
right
Mulaney?
now.
You guys know John
Hashtag
Mulaney?
And Eddie Murphy. And
So
Chris
good.
Rock. These are guys that
Chris
go
Rock.
on both spectrums. And they heat up the stage with both audiences. If you can do that with both audiences, you're dope. And that's what I'm just saying. If you can rock both crowds, if you can go to fucking Anaheim and then you can go to LA, you're dope.
Yeah, tell me a white comedian that can rock a black crowd.
Somebody like Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell?
I
Will
started
Ferrell.
out doing black crowds.
You know what I mean?
Hold on.
He's
I
dope.
started out doing.
Oh, and you started out doing.
Well, when I was first started, there was a really good pizza place show that Titus Jones was running, and he was kind enough to let me have a spot. It was like every other week, and it was majority black crowd, and I had to learn how to work with that. And there's a difference because here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Wait.
Here's the thing, because
I like
there's a
this. I like
difference
this.
because it's not
like this
always about
awkwardness.
race, but it's about education level. It's about where, like the
Environment.
crowd. Yeah, the crowd. So that kind of crowd would be different than like a black church crowd, which I've done too, which are really fun because I can't do any of my normal material. I can't do any of my normal shit. I can't curse. I can't, and I have to be like,
Wait.
It's so
Hold
fun.
on. Stop. Pause.
That's
Rewind.
hilarious.
You have performed in front of a black religious crowd.
oh yeah, and those rooms pay really well too. But yeah, and I just had to go out and and I had to write like a bunch of new material.
Who's got the best macaroni and cheese? Like you have to make weird
But
jokes.
I had a lot
How
of
does that
fun
work?
with it. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I would do.
Black churches don't even tip. How do you
No, they pay. No, they
you got
pay.
money out of them?
Those churches,
Hey, they pay though.
those rooms pay.
They entertain.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong business.
Now, what about
I know you couldn't see me in that environment, but I do have different jokes that aren't so dirty.
what about comedian like Gary Owen? He's done it in both.
Yeah.
He does both.
He's dope.
He's done it in
He's
both.
dope. He's relatable. He looks at controversial, topics that people dive into.
And now the funny thing is,
gets away with a lot of shit.
and the first time I saw him, coincidentally, was on Def Comedy Jam.
Thank you.
That's actually the first time, and he blew it up.
Thank you. And how many, and just being real, we're talking about being real. There's no stages where there's just, there's a flock of everybody. No, there's more of everybody and more of this one.
Yep.
Def Comedy Jam, they have more blacks. When you go to MTV, they have more whites. That was the bottom line.
Not necessarily,
That's not necessarily
true.
true.
They had they
Usually,
It's the truth.
I feel
Usually.
like it's a genre of comedy. So I feel like if you're urban, you're gonna do urban comedy. So then you know where your urban's at. Like, you know what I mean? If you're like, if you're suburban, you know what I mean? You're gonna fit in your pocket. Like I just
But you're talking
It's
about the
hard.
networks base.
no,
What-
I'm
let's look
saying
at
urban.
networks.
Like if you're from the hood, then you're gonna you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have like your start out is gonna be like a hood based comedy type deal. If you're suburban, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different versions of it. It's just I think
We're talking about
It's
the
not like-
origination of
right, hold
I
on,
don't see
hold on.
black comedy and Latino though. It's just comedy. If you're funny,
comedy
it's
is comedy,
funny.
but there's a such thing as different crowds.
True.
So if there's a such
All
thing as
day.
different crowds, then there's a such thing as
Shout
different
out
comedy.
Arizona.
Am I making sense here, people? Am I
Yeah,
making
hold
stuff
on.
up?
Romarick,
Yeah.
is there a topic that you will not touch? Gay sex, transgenderism, anything like that? Is there something that you think that there's a line that you cannot cross
I won't
as a
touch
comedian?
something that I really don't know.
Religion.
I'll touch religion, but I'm not really. That's not my worry. Like that's not my comedy. My comedy's not worrying about religion and the politics. My worry is like, damn, did she just wake up in my bed right now? Like, like for real? Not again. Not again. Oh, this is
Pretty
bad.
sure it's a
This is bad.
relationship
And I
now.
drove. I don't even have a car. How the fuck?
And is there a topic that you will not touch in your comedy show? And I've seen your comedy show. I've seen all three of your guys' comedy show.
I think if I've like written on it, because I'm really like I'm really punchline heavy. Like I want to know where it's coming from. Like I'm not just one of those comics who just like talk. So I really want to know. So if I have something that like I'm passionate about and I can write a joke about it, a really good joke, then no, I don't think that.
Like for me, if it hasn't happened to me, then I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like for real, if I haven't experienced that,
Yeah.
I don't feel
You can't talk about something funny that you noticed. That's well, I guess that's still based
on my
Yeah,
undermine.
my-
You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? Like if
personal.
I
Yeah, that
haven't
makes
experienced it, but if you were telling me your
get it.
story and I took that, I don't want to like that. I couldn't
Yeah,
do
it
that.
seems really
I couldn't
awkward. It
do
seems
that.
like a really weird thing to do.
AJ,
What's up?
is there a line that you won't cross?
Depends on the crowd.
Oh my, this guy, everything with him is depends on the crowd.
Depends on the crowd. Okay,
Okay.
we're talking about business here. If you want to get booked, you're coming to give you your best.
Okay. Now here's a question from the comments, and I don't know who this person is, but hopefully one of you guys does. So where does Hannibal fall into? Hannibal is a black comic
Burris,
that
he's
appeals.
hilarious.
He's
so
versed.
And he's a worker too.
He appeals
He
more
puts
to
in
the
a lot of
alt
work.
comedy crowd.
Yes,
He does.
Yeah.
That's just his
he's
lane.
relatable.
He's great.
Talks about all kind of topics.
Yeah.
Well, I need to check out Hannibal. All right.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's
Hannibal's
funny.
dope.
I
He's
like
great,
him. I
for
would follow
sure.
him.
He's
a good
very
guy,
funny.
too.
Now, is there any comedy? I know it's hard as a comedian to kind of bag on other comedians, but is there anybody that's made it that you would say
I asked
has
that. They wouldn't answer. They
kind
wouldn't
of no,
answer.
but that has kind of made it, but they've kind of thrown in the towel now and they're not putting in the same work anymore?
Ari Spears.
What? Who?
Ari Spears.
Eric
Okay.
Spears?
Ari
He's a funny
Spears.
dude.
And that dude was a hard driven
Are you
dude that
kidding?
has.
You know he's gonna be at the Improv on the 6th,
Yeah, he
right?
is. But the way his
That's
comedy is
hilarious.
going now is going more political.
That's like
I think
And that's why I'm like,
career has
he's
ups
a
and
little
downs.
different.
he said we're gonna be at the Ontario Improv on the September 6th, like in a week.
But have they all done that though? A lot of comedians have kind of gone that
might have to
that
check
that
that
route
shit.
that road because they're
Older.
they're trying to drive the message now.
Yeah. And I feel like it goes with the longevity of the game. If you got experience in the game, that old stuff that you're talking about,
No,
you're not
but you could
worried
also,
about
you
that.
gotta
no more.
realize too, like
Look at the D.L. Hughley's.
once you get to a certain
You know what I
point
mean? Look
in
what they're
comedy,
talking about now. They're not
Eddie
on
Murphy
that old
just
stuff.
came back to
Eddie Griffin.
SNL.
Look at their comedy today. It's more political than what they used to talk about. They're more real now, which is where the crowd is shaky. Some people accept it, some people don't. But these guys have been in a game where they can do that. Whereas if I came in the game doing that shit, I'm gonna probably get bashed because guess what? I haven't developed everybody yet. But D.L. Hughley has touch and he's been in the game and he has longevity. He could talk about that political shit because he's not worried about the money no more.
Right, but
He's been doing it.
But the design of a comedy show is to be funny, and a lot of it's not funny anymore.
It's not, and it's because the crowd has changed now.
Right.
Look at what we're driving today. We got more people that can judge you, but at the same time they're sensitive. It makes no sense.
it does. It's just
Makes no
another.
sense.
I mean, it's
They're
just
quick to
another
judge.
evolution. But it's just another evolution of comedy. I mean, you got to think about when Richard Pryor was doing his stuff. That was brand new.
Yeah.
Nobody knew how to accept that, and he was doing it high. So it was like it was even worse. So,
So
you know
is
what I
the
mean?
rest of the crowd. High
So-
as fucking
so
cocaine,
it's
so
just-
So is Red Fox
I
and the
just
rest
think
of them
it's
dudes.
just another evolution of comedy. And now, for me, I feel like the game is good. I feel like it's opened up a lot more doors to other comics that really may have not been seen before. Before there was a lot of just you only see these certain comics, but I think now, like with the Tiffany Haddish special, she brought her friends on there, dropped 6 female comics on there. I think that's dope. You know, Kevin Hart with the Red Cup Boys. I mean, it's just
NBC.
I think now there's more of a chance for comics like us to make a lane for ourselves without probably having going through most of the rigmarole that they had to, which kind of sucks for them because they went through it. You know what I mean? Like they had to go through all the steps to get to where they're at. But and the day,
I agree.
It's a grind, man. It's a grind. I mean, I feel like with anything, it's about keeping the shit alive. I mean, if you're not good at it, you're gonna lose people. But with this shit, it's a constant grind. Has the comedy game changed to me? Hell yeah, it's changed to me. It's
Now-
not as raw as it used to
but
be.
comedy, but you gotta realize though, comedy is about pop culture. So
And the
whenever,
game is changing.
whenever
Yeah, the
pop
game has
culture
changed.
changes, so does
Yeah.
comedy.
Exactly. I mean,
Like
that's-
if you
Yeah.
don't change it,
No,
then
I'm
you're
agreeing.
stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck. Like in a sense that like if you can't like for me, honestly, go back to your question. I'll answer it. Like to me, I probably wouldn't touch white people, black people do that joke.
Okay.
I'm over
All right.
that joke for me. For me, I just felt like it's been touched on
Do you
enough.
think as a society we're past that?
I would hope so, because
Right?
I think we could do better now. Like I
mean, I feel like that, but what are we witnessing?
I think we all do the
Come
same
on now,
shit.
like,
I think we all do the same shit.
We touched off on blackface at the beginning of this
Right,
podcast.
yeah, for sure,
Come on
for
now.
sure. But we're
For
past that though.
everybody.
We're past it though,
It
for
depends
sure.
on the crowd.
I was forced
said.
into that situation, and I did not want to breach that topic, but you guys made me.
Yeah,
Hey,
brought it
so
up.
that's how you started. You just pull it out.
Okay. All right.
That's how you get arrested.
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of comedians out
Thank
these
God I
days. Now, Ann, you have done a little podcasting on your own, haven't you?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
No, yeah, like me, or I've done a lot of podcasts. Are you talking about me? I
No,
had, like, a
haven't
show.
you hosted a podcast?
I had like a live show kind of thing, kind of deal.
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you-
so same
do you-
thing.
Do you think comedians
that.
need like that extra rep, like Joe Rogan and other comedians that do podcasts? Do you think that comedians need that to be like
To
successful?
stay relevant,
Today,
yes,
yeah.
I would say so.
AJ, do you do a
I don't-
podcast?
Hell
I
yeah.
mean,
You do a podcast?
I try.
You try.
I try.
no, I want to do like a podcast. No, I don't think you need to. It's like a lot of people run their own shows so that they can
Get more
Yeah.
shows.
Right, but I don't do that. Like it's not something I've needed in my career. I don't think it's
But
super
you've done it
necessary.
before.
But I haven't run a show, but I did like my live show kind of thing.
Your live
but
show
I haven't
kinda
like
thing.
run a
All right.
venue.
All right.
I did my live show. That was really cool. I've been thinking about doing something else like that, but like the
Yeah,
timing
we're
was
setting
off
up a
for
new
me.
studio over in Riverside.
Yeah.
And we're
And
doing a
the
show with
producer's
strippers.
really
Maybe you can
cool.
host it.
What?
Nice.
Did somebody say strippers?
Wait, what?
Anna killed that shit, man.
No,
You killed it,
no. I honestly, I've been talking to another buddy of mine. We're setting up another studio in Riverside
I
to
actually
do some
just did a
other
show at
side
Deja
shows.
Vu, 2 weeks
Basically,
ago.
the shows you have to pay for. 'Cause
Okay.
We're trying to get into the game of like people paying $5 a month for the background shows. That
Right,
you have to get beyond that curtain. You know what I mean?
You guys.
Yeah, you guys. So if we get 10,000 people paying $5 a month to listen to
Yep.
shows that you can't get for free, that's $50,000.
That's
So
math,
don't be a
ladies and
dick.
gentlemen.
Well,
Give us
you said you wanna do
$5.
it with strippers because I know a lot of strippers.
I know some strippers too.
Yeah, I Candy and
Has that been
Diamond and
done
all
yet?
those bitches.
Can
Yeah.
we sell a stripper show? Has that been done?
and time.
It's not illegal, right, to sell a strip show?
No, we're not pimping. We're not like at
That's
some.
not a pimp.
Like
There's
if we
no
auction,
sex.
auction a stripper,
There's zero sex.
This is so far away
Auction.
from AJ.
Are
and
we
some-
human trafficking now? What's going on here?
No, just like a nice YouTube show where we have random chicks.
Yeah,
come
and this
on
isn't
there.
like AJ at the TA truck stop with a fucking truck driver. It's
It's like
completely
going to the
different.
strip
Hey,
club
hey,
without
look here, look here.
having to leave
That was
your
one time,
house.
goddamn.
You're never gonna live it down now. See?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, now
I'm
you'll
not
all-
ashamed about
you'll
that,
be,
though.
You'll be
Like
the,
I said,
the
if y'all
TA
would've seen her-
blackface now.
You would have fucked her, okay?
Hell, I
You
would
would
have
have
fucked
fucked
her.
her.
That's a lie.
And I don't know. You freaky as shit. You probably would have ate the
Yeah, I would
coochie.
have fucked her.
She was a good looking
Wait a minute, and
Even
since
the
we're
dog
talking
is
about
barking.
who you're gonna fuck, I mean, have you ever
$250.
ventured on the other side of the fence and like
Well, I was dating a woman at the beginning of this year.
Hold
I had
on.
a girlfriend.
What?
Yeah, she's great.
Everybody got
so what's
quiet
the
right
benefit
here.
of dating another female?
Good coochie lickers.
If I forget my makeup bag at home, she's got me on lock.
Right, that's good.
Sex
Word.
better with a female or a male?
Well, I mean, I need the dick. So,
like that.
but it was really fun. We had a lot of fun together. It's
Pretty
good.
sure that's a hashtag.
I need the dick.
I do. I
Yeah, me
just-
too.
I need that, and I need
My
like the
man
male energy, and she was kind of.
say that.
Can't say what?
Hey,
You
Ro, I
just
like
said,
that, man.
yeah, me too.
Oh, man.
I didn't say me too.
She
That
likes
was
the dick.
AJ over there. Fucking Mr. Lot Lizard fucker. Fucking, I don't know.
Hey, goddamn, you gonna put that back on there?
Yeah,
You're a
man.
lot lizard fucker. What do you
That was the best
mean?
story I heard all
She
night
ain't no damn
long.
lot lizard. The lot lizards is the ones that's getting
The
paid
lot
for
lizard paid him to fuck.
Hey, AJ, did her
Yes.
tongue go out and go?
fucking- a couple times, you know what I mean? But that was somewhere else, you know. I ain't
All
gonna
right,
talk
all
about
right,
that.
all right.
Was there like
Well, that's the dead air that I need to fucking fill up.
I mean, we
And-
had some chocolates, like some Reese's, but you know that was after the
Reese's?
fact, you know? What's wrong with Reese's? You don't like peanut butter?
Nothing. It's my favorite.
All right, this is Jake, and you've been listening to Radio Underland, and we've been hanging out with Ann Flagg, AJ Noland, Romarick, Romarick. Fuck, man, I'm so
always-
white. I fuck up that name.
Not just you.
Romarick.
I think it's
Yeah. No,
the name, man. It's
I met you that night at the comedy club, and I'm like, what is his name? I know
Yeah.
it's like Ramondo.
Romarick. I got Roderick. I got
Roderick.
I got Numeric. I got Tamarick. One time.
Roderick.
The spice.
That's a fun name if I ever heard one.
But we've been having a
Roderick.
good time tonight with Ann Flagg, AJ Nolan, and what are their Instagrams?
And Raw Derek.
Raw Derek.
Raw Derek.
Yeah.
and Raw Dickett.
Raw Dickin. That's my new album coming out, Raw Dickin. Catch that 2020. We gonna be on tour in San Bernardino. Come out to the Orange Show. Come out to the Orange Show.
But I'll tell you what. I mean, to Tom, we didn't get to the news tonight. We didn't get to anything.
No, this is pretty
fuck
good
it,
though.
fuck it, right? Fuck
Did
it.
you guys have fun?
Oh yeah, we always have fun. We always have fun. But this is Radio Underland.
I did.
You can subscribe to us on all the social media platforms, and you can also check out Flagg at _anticipation.
Or you can just
Hold on, let me turn you up because I
go to
turned you down.
Instagram and plug in my name. It'll pop up for you.
Yeah, Flagg at _anticipation.
2 G's. Flagg with 2 G's.
Yeah, it's extra special. That's what my grandpa says.
And then we've got
For a double
AJ
dose of
Noland,
gangster.
which is like world star hip hop. What is your fucking Noland World Comedy?
This basic, you know what I'm saying?
You can also find them on Craigslist. Casual encounters for casual encounters.
Let go and offer up.
So we gotta before we wrap up, we gotta
the TA. He's
And
got
hold
a
on,
spot.
and Romarick,
Yes, sir.
Romarick Anderson at
ROMARICK.
And I
Not
have-
Puerto Rican.
So yeah, so
Not
before we
Puerto
wrap up, we have a very special announcement.
Yeah, I didn't know this happened, and I have to give a special shout out to our Australian friends,
Yep.
Mickey and Gaz.
Nice.
That's cool.
Good day, mate.
Yes.
They had the
Why do people do
baby.
that when they hear Australia? That's funny.
Nikki and Gaz,
Congratulations.
great friends of ours that come out.
My favorite cunts.
Yes. They come out to California every a couple times a year, but they haven't been doing it lately because Nikki's been pregnant. But Nikki had her baby, and the baby's name is Aurora.
Aurora.
Yeah.
So congrats, guys.
I can't wait to see pictures.
And something else happened this week, and I know these comedians don't know what we're talking about. Well, AJ might, and you subscribe to my Disneyland bullshit and the gang and all that shit that's going on.
Oh, my friend is a part of that. I forgot.
Hold on,
Wait,
explain.
what?
It's
Your
the
friend
White
is
Rabbits, right?
yes. Who?
His name is Omar. I haven't seen him. in a couple
Oh,
years.
shit.
My God.
Wow.
Only the homie.
Nobody
Yes,
has
only
seen
the
Omar
homie.
in years.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
seen him in
no,
a while.
Omar.
We haven't seen him either.
We
Yeah.
haven't either.
Yeah.
He got a girl, and then we haven't seen him.
I hate it when that happens.
We
I
miss
wasn't gonna
Omar.
put that
We
on
Yeah,
blast.
we miss
Only the
Omar.
homie.
But I'll
We
tell you what.
know Omar.
We have a
Honestly,
good story about Only the
I-
homie.
I've got a bunch of good stories about Ogie the homie.
Introduced me to my best friend, so we're really
Okay, and on a side note, and this is completely serious, which I know we're doing a comedy show and it's not the time for a serious talk, but one of our friends from the Disneyland community, which we're pretty much deeply involved. In fact, I don't know anybody that's deeply involved more than we are. But one of our friends passed away this week from cancer, and his name is Domingo. And
I didn't hear that.
Diego.
I mean,
Yeah, you were
It's the
hoping it was
alcohol.
Domingo, but it's Diego.
I meant Diego.
That's a
And
very close friend.
Diego, he was a guy that he was an acquaintance of mine at the parks, and he was a cool dude. And every time I talked to him, he was just a really nice guy. But he passed away this week from cancer. So our thoughts and our condolences to the friends and family of Diego, who passed away this week from cancer. Cancer's a motherfucker, man, and
Yeah,
it takes out the
sure
good
is.
people. And Diego was just one of those guys. He was one of those guys that you ran into at the parks, and he was just a super, just chill,
Yeah,
nice,
genuine
quiet guy. You know what I mean? And he passed away this week from cancer. And so our thoughts and our prayers go out to his friends and his family and people associated with Diego. And he was a cool dude, and he will be missed. And it's very unfortunate. Now, on that note, I think that it's time that, anybody got a joke after that? No. Okay. Okay.
So I was at this truck stop.
She was fine as fuck too.
You would have fucked her. You would have fucked her.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we're not going to do any news tonight, which we normally do, and we normally do a lot of things that we didn't do tonight because we got caught up in this whole comedy talk. We're gonna kill the show out and end it, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And thank you so much for Ann
Good
Flagg,
night,
For having me,
Good
man.
night,
Thank you
guys.
AJ
guys.
Nolan,
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
and
you.
and Romarick for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you guys
Thank you.
next week.
Thank you guys.
Y'all sing it one more time. I can't help myself, I don't want to buy. Yes, yeah.